Chapter 394. His polychoria flickered, and two figures slowly entered Lu Yuan's vision. One of them was dressed in white, and had a seductive face. He was clearly a man, but his skin was as fair as a woman's. Occasionally, he would make an awkward gesture with his hands, and his feminine aura was evident. Beside him was a girl in a platinum dress. She was very pretty, and her eyebrows were curved. Her pink eyes flashed with a faint charm, and her figure was sexy and hot. Although she wasn't as outstanding as Zhu Zhuqing in certain aspects, she was curvy in all the right places, and was very enchanting. The charm that seeped out from her bones was really hard to resist. However, her temperament was very pure and holy, which added an indescribable charm. "Senior sister? Hu Lena?" Zhu Zhuqing poked her head out from Lu Yuan's arms and looked at the two blurry figures. She sighed and said, "Why are you here so quickly? It's not that fast. It's been more than a week. It's considered slow." After hearing Zhu Zhuqing's muttering, Lu Yuan was a little amused. He had asked the mad rhino Douluo to send a message back a few days after he arrived at the Icefire Yin-Yang well. 7 or 8 days had passed, so wasn't it normal for Hu Lena to come? Could it be that this girl was afraid that Hu Lena would monopolize him? That's true. We've been in Heaven Do Imperial City for more than 10 days already, Zhu Zhuqing said softly. We've done a lot over the past few days. Lu Yuan tapped his chin. Over the past few days, he had subdued Dugu Bo, chosen a location for the Dragon King Hall, established the Heavenly Star Academy, collaborated with the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect, created soul tools, and concocted all kinds of pills. Almost every day had been packed to the brim. After calculating carefully, he realized that he had completed so many things in less than 10 days. He had to admit that he was quite efficient. Furthermore, he had casually dug a hole for the Clear Sky sect during this period. Chihiro Snow must have made his move. In 3 days, news of Tang Hao's death had probably spread throughout Heaven Do Imperial City. The death of the vast Sky Douluo was definitely going to be very sensational news. Tang Yuhua, who was in the Yuxian, couldn't sit still anymore. Fortunately, he had sent the mad rhino Douluo to keep an eye on her. As long as Tang Yuhua made a move, he would immediately receive news. Even though the frenzied rhino Douluo would report to Chihiro Snow, he was still very good at what Lu Yuan had instructed him to do. Therefore, in order to prevent him from appearing in front of him, Lu Yuan simply sent him out. Junior brother. When Lu Yuan saw Hu Lena and the others, Hu Lena naturally saw Lu Yuan as well. She immediately called out and ran towards Lu Yuan. "Your senior sister is here. I should give up my position." Zhu Zhuqing came out of Lu Yuan's arms and said in a calm tone, "You." Lu Yuan rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's head exasperatedly. Wasn't this girl very magnanimous? She even persuaded him to accept Ning Rongrong. Why was she always thinking about what happened in Martial Spirit City? Junior brother. Hu Lena ran closer and closer. She suddenly jumped into Lu Yuan's arms and hugged Lu Yuan's neck. Her legs wrapped around Lu Yuan's waist, and her perky bottom pressed against Lu Yuan's stomach. Her red lips blocked Lu Yuan's mouth. After a long kiss, Hu Lena finally let go of Lu Yuan's lips. She lifted her head slightly and looked at Lu Yuan with a passionate gaze. "Junior brother, did you miss me?" "Of course I did. Why would I ask you to come over if I didn't miss you?" Lu Yuan said with a smile as he held Hu Lena's perky bottom. "I knew you were the best, junior brother. I missed you too," Hu Lena said coquettishly as she hugged Lu Yuan's neck tightly. Just as Lu Yuan and Hui Yuhao were getting into a heated atmosphere, the Zhu Douluo's voice sounded in front of Lu Yuan. "Ahem, all right. Stop showing off your affection. Don't you know that I'm single?" "Is that so? Uncle Zhu, are you single? Don't you have a girlfriend?" Lu Yuan's lips curled into a strange smile. "Since when did I have a girlfriend? Why didn't I know?" the Zhu Douluo asked in confusion. "Ahem, perhaps I remembered wrongly." Lu Yuan patted Hu Lena's perky bottom and gestured for her to get down. Hu Lena pursed her lips slightly upon seeing this. She reluctantly climbed down from Lu Yuan's body, but she still held onto Lu Yuan's arm tightly after she landed. "Oh, by the way, How has Senior Gui been recently? Lu Yuan patted Hu Lena's hand with a peculiar smile on his face. You're asking about old Gui? Old Gui has been doing well recently, and he even asked me to send his regards to his little disciple. The Jew Douluo replied as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing. Is that so? That's good to hear. Lu Yuan replied with a smile. By the way, little Yuan, where did you find such a treasure trove? The herbs here are incredible. Most of them are rare herbs that can't be found in the outside world, and they're all very old. Every single one of them is very difficult to find in the outside world. The Jew Douluo sighed as he looked at the lush herbs around them. This is Senior Dugu's place. It's called the Icefire Yin-Yang Well. Of course, it's now considered the herb base of our Dragon King Palace, Lu Yuan replied. You're quite the resourceful one. Even a reclusive old man like Dugu Bo was able to take care of him. I didn't think that this old man would have such a treasure trove. It's extremely cold and hot, and the spiritual energy here is very abundant. If I'm not mistaken, there should be immortal herbs growing in this environment, but why aren't there any here? The Jew Douluo asked in a perplexed manner as he looked around the Icefire Yin-Yang Well. That's because I've already collected all of the immortal herbs here. This is why I asked you to come here with me. Light flashed from Lu Yuan's hand as he spoke, and two peculiar flowers and plants appeared in Lu Yuan's hands. One of them was a massive chrysanthemum, and the chrysanthemum was a vibrant purple. Every single petal of the chrysanthemum was furry, and the entire flower was a single entity. There was a golden stamen at the center of the flower, and the tip of the stamen was shimmering with faint golden light. Compared to the more vibrant chrysanthemum, the other flower and plant was a little more mundane. It was a white flower that was around the size of a palm, and its shape resembled a peony. There wasn't a single blade of grass on the flower, and there was a large rock attached to its stem. The rock was completely black, and it was being held in Lu Yuan's hand. This rock was quite heavy, but it was naturally nothing to Lu Yuan, and he still felt as if it were as light as a feather. As soon as these two flowers and plants appeared, they immediately attracted the attention of both of them. Hu Liena was only a little curious, but the Jew Douluo's expression stiffened drastically. He looked at the two herbs as if he had seen the love of his life, and in particular, he was staring at the massive white flower as if he were making a pilgrimage to the Holy Spirit realm. Chapter 395. Singular Velvet Sky Connecting Chrysanthemum. Yearning Heartbroken Red. The Jew Douluo's voice was filled with astonishment as he stared at the two herbs in Lu Yuan's hands with an infatuated look in his eyes. Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile at the sight of the fervent look in the Jew Douluo's eyes. The Jew Douluo was indeed a titled Douluo who loved flowers. Just his infatuation was evident. The fact that he didn't rush over to Tang Wulin to take a closer look was already a display of restraint. That's right, it's them. Lu Yuan nodded and said, both the singular velvet sky connecting chrysanthemum and the yearning heartbroken red are immortal grade herbs. The yearning heartbroken red is also known as the king of immortal grade herbs, and it possesses incredible effects. Uncle Jew, I'll give this singular velvet sky connecting chrysanthemum to you. Your martial soul is also the singular velvet sky connecting chrysanthemum, so it's a good match for you. Thank you, Kid Yuan. This singular velvet sky connecting chrysanthemum is indeed very useful to me, so I won't stand on ceremony with you. The Jew Douluo accepted the singular velvet sky connecting chrysanthemum from Lu Yuan as he spoke. You're too kind, Uncle Jew. If it weren't for your immortal herb collection, I wouldn't have been able to recognize these immortal-grade herbs even if I saw them. You deserve it. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Heh, I knew I wasn't wrong about you. The Jew Douluo raised his hand slightly and covered his mouth as he chuckled, causing Lu Yuan to hurriedly avert his gaze. This scene was too beautiful, and he really didn't dare to look at it. Senior sister, this is for you. It's called the Yearning Heartbroken Red, and it's an immortal-grade herb among immortal-grade herbs. Among all the immortal-grade herbs that I have, if you compare them individually, this one is the most potent. Lu Yuan said as he passed the Yearning Heartbroken Red to Hu Lena. Really, junior brother? This one is the most potent. Hu Lena blinked as she looked at Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan nodded and said, yes, the yearning heartbroken red is the strongest in terms of individual effect. Indeed, in terms of medicinal effects, apart from the serene snow exquisite Ganoderma and bright gold mysterious yang grass that Chihiro Snow consumed at the same time, the effects of these two yin-yang immortal grasses could surpass that of the yearning heartbroken red. Even the star anise mysterious ice grass and blazing delicate apricot that Lu Yuan consumed at the same time were slightly inferior to the yearning heartbroken red. The king of the celestial grade was not just for show. Then Zhu Zhuqing should have consumed it, right? What immortal herb did she consume? Helena blinked her eyes as she asked. Hearing this, Lu Yuan flicked Helena's finger, feeling both angry and amused at the same time. Did this girl also have thoughts of comparing herself with others? However, he didn't hide it because Zhu Zhuqing wouldn't be angry because of this. She already had something better. Zhuqing took the Narcissus jadeskin bone. Its effect is slightly inferior to the yearning heartbroken red, Lu Yuan said. Is that so? Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Helena had a smile on her face. Fortunately, this stinky junior brother still loved her a little more after all. Zhu Zhuqing, who was at the side, looked at the smile on Helena's face with a calm expression. She wouldn't be jealous. No matter how precious the yearning heartbroken red was, how could it compare to a 100,000-year soulbone? Therefore, she was very calm in her heart. Lu Yuan was basically impartial. Other than being a little biased towards Chihiro Snow, she and Helena actually got the same things. Looking at the smile on Helena's face, Lu Yuan rubbed her head in amusement. This senior sister of mine is really easy to satisfy. She's so happy just because of such a small matter. Senior sister, this yearning heartbroken red is good, but whether it can be plucked or not depends on you, Lu Yuan said with a smile as he pinched Helena's cheek. What do you mean? Helena was a little confused as she looked at Lu Yuan. Right at this moment, the chrysanthemum Douluo's voice sounded. The yearning heartbroken red is an extraordinary flower. It chooses its owner. Only someone who has gained its approval can pluck it. Yes, Uncle Chrysanthemum is right. This yearning heartbroken red is very special. It will choose its own owner. If you want to pluck it, you have to pay a certain price. With that, Lu Yuan told Helena about the love story of the yearning heartbroken red. After listening to the story, Helena and Zhu Zhuqing's eyes were filled with infatuation as they stared at Lu Yuan. Their gazes were filled with deep affection. Seeing the deep affection in their eyes, Lu Yuan's heart felt warm. It was really the best gift that the heavens had given him in this life. Since this flower is a flower of true love, when plucking it, you have to think of the person you love. You have to pour a mouthful of your heart's blood into it with sincerity. If you're half-hearted, you won't be able to pluck it even if you die from vomiting blood. Once the flower is plucked, it will never wither as long as it's by its owner's side. The rock at the bottom of the flower is called the abyssal rock. If it's forcefully destroyed, then the entire yearning heartbroken red will instantly lose all of its medicinal effects. So in conclusion, if you want to pluck this yearning heartbroken red, you have to pour a mouthful of your heart's blood that contains the most sincere feelings. Senior sister, are you confident that you can pluck it? Lu Yuan looked at Helena with an expectant gaze. Even though he knew that Helena was deeply in love with him, he still couldn't help but want to know whether Helena could pluck the flower or not. As long as I look at you, I have confidence. Helena stretched out her right hand and gently stroked Lu Yuan's cheek. Then she turned her head and suddenly patted her chest. A mouthful of her heart's blood directly rushed up to her throat and sprayed it all over the yearning heartbroken red. The dark red blood dripped on the petals and slowly seeped in. Suddenly, a golden light burst out, and the yearning heartbroken red almost instantly fell off the abyssal rock and was caught by Helena. Junior brother, look. Helena turned her head with a bright smile on her face and gently shook the yearning heartbroken red in her hand at Lu Yuan. Senior sister. Lu Yuan raised his right hand and gently wiped the residual blood from Helena's lips. Then he suddenly opened his arms and hugged Helena tightly in his arms. In his heart, he thought that Helena would definitely be able to pick the yearning heartbroken red, but when Lu Yuan really saw the yearning heartbroken red fall from the abyssal rock, his heart couldn't help but beat fiercely. Tightly hugging Helena, Lu Yuan now only wanted to hug the girl in front of him and integrate her with him. Zhu Zhuqing looked at Helena with some envy. She knew that after today's incident, Helena's position in Lu Yuan's heart would definitely rise by a lot. In addition to envy, Zhu Zhuqing also admired Helena's infatuation. She admitted that she loved Lu Yuan so much that she could not extricate herself from it. However, perhaps her love for Lu Yuan was not as deep as Helena's. It was no wonder that even though she and Qian Renxue were both by Lu Yuan's side, he was willing to give the more effective yin-yang immortal herb to Qian Renxue and the priceless 100,000-year-old blue-silver right thigh bone to her. And he just happened to leave the yearning heartbroken red to Helena. Now it seemed that this guy was really right. Compared to her love for Lu Yuan, she and Chihiro Snow were still inferior to Helena. Chapter 396. Senior sister, absorb this yearning heartbroken red, Lu Yuan said with a smile as he gently stroked Helena's short blonde hair. Junior brother, I can't bear to. This is the proof of our love, Helena said with a smile as she caressed the petals of the yearning heartbroken red lovingly. There's nothing to be reluctant about. I will always remember your love for me in my heart, and there's no need to be attached to a mere flower. Senior sister, you're already rank 49 now. As long as you take the yearning heartbroken red, you can immediately break through to the Soul King realm, and your soul power may even rise by 6 or 7 ranks. It's very likely that once you break through to the Soul King realm, you'll reach rank 56 or 57. And this yearning heartbroken red will also completely transform your body. After taking it, your strength will increase greatly. Isn't this much better than keeping it? Strength is the most important thing. Lu Yuan tried his best to persuade him. But I still can't bear to. Helena hugged Lu Yuan's arm and said coquettishly. Is that so? But senior sister, Schwerer has already consumed the immortal herb I gave her, and she's already broken through rank 60. After she obtains a soul ring, she'll probably reach rank 64 or 65. She's only a year older than you, but her soul power is so much higher than yours. You don't want to be left behind by her forever, do you? Lu Yuan's tone had a trace of inexplicable emotion. Ah, how did she cultivate so fast? Helena had a trace of surprise on her face. She had always regarded Chihiro Snow as her goal. After all, both of them liked Lu Yuan. Although Helena acknowledged Chihiro Snow's position as the main wife, she didn't want to be left behind by Chihiro Snow too much. She also wanted Lu Yuan to know that her senior sister was also very outstanding. She didn't want to be surpassed by another person. As for Zhu Zhuqing, who was 5 years younger than her, she was not someone she wanted to compare herself with. Chihiro Snow was the target that Helena wanted to pursue. Now that Lu Yuan had said that Chihiro Snow had broken through to rank 60 and could reach rank 64 or 65 after obtaining a soul ring, Helena couldn't help but feel a sense of urgency. I can't be left too far behind by her. I'm only 1 year younger than her. Yeah, Cher's cultivation is really fast. Even her martial spirit has evolved. Lu Yuan's faint voice sounded. Junior fellow apprentice, how do I eat this yearning heartbroken red? Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Helena immediately raised her head and asked. It's very simple. Just eat those petals one by one, then sit cross-legged on the ground and meditate to absorb soul power, Lu Yuan said. Then I'll go, Helena said. Go, we'll protect you. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Seeing that Helena had found a clean place to sit down, Lu Yuan glanced at the Ju Douluo. Uncle Ju, you should absorb it too. I'll watch over here. All right, I'll have to trouble you then. The Ju Douluo nodded. This singular velvet sky chrysanthemum was also very effective for him. He couldn't help but want to absorb its medicinal effects. Seeing that the two of them had already entered a meditative state to absorb the medicinal effects, Lu Yuan nodded and walked towards Zhu Zhuqing. Lu Yuan opened his arms and pulled Zhu Zhuqing into his embrace. Seeing that Zhu Zhuqing had a serious look in her eyes, Lu Yuan asked gently, Zhuqing, what's wrong? Are you feeling a little conflicted? Zhu Zhuqing raised her head and looked into Lu Yuan's eyes. Lu Yuan, I can also pluck the yearning heartbroken grass for you. Zhu Zhuqing's expression was very serious. Perhaps she wasn't as infatuated as Helena, but she dared to say that her love for Lu Yuan was also from the bottom of her heart. There were no impurities at all. I know, I've always believed in you. Lu Yuan gently stroked Zhu Zhuqing's jet-black hair and enjoyed its smoothness. It's just that there's only one yearning heartbroken grass, so I can only give it to one person. Comparatively speaking, it's more suitable for senior sister. Lu Yuan's voice was very gentle. Yes, I can understand you. I'm just a little envious of Helena. She can use the yearning heartbroken grass to express her love for you without any reservation, Zhu Zhuqing said softly. Zhuqing. Lu Yuan called out softly. Yes. Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan. You don't have to do anything special. Your company is the best way to confess to me. Lu Yuan's eyes were filled with affection. He didn't need Zhu Zhuqing to prove anything. To him, Zhu Zhuqing had already been hidden deep in Lu Yuan's heart from the moment she abandoned everything to leave with him. Lu Yuan. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes carried a trace of emotion. How could this man be so good at talking? Hearing this, her heart was really happy. Silly girl. Lu Yuan rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's head lovingly. There was a warm smile on his face. Deep in the setting sun forest, 5 figures slowly appeared in the forest. They were Lu Yuan and the rest. Lu Yuan walked in front, while Helena and Zhu Zhuqing followed beside him. Long Xiaoyaro and the Ju Douluo followed behind them silently. The Ju Douluo was always smiling. He seemed to be in a good mood. The yearning heartbroken red had helped him break through a rank, and he was now a rank 96 transcendent Douluo. While rank 96 and rank 95 were both transcendent Douluo, rank 96 was actually much stronger than rank 95. The Ju Douluo could be considered one of the most powerful individuals in the world. Even in the martial soul palace, his status had risen significantly. Of course, when he looked at Long Xiaoyaro, who was on his right, he was still very respectful. He had no choice. Long Xiaoyaro was an extremely powerful individual, and he was on par with the great consecrator. Moreover, according to what he knew, the head consecrator seemed to have lost by a bit. He couldn't afford to offend such a big shot. Even if he was at level 98, he wouldn't be able to withstand a few slaps from such a big shot, let alone a mere level 96. Junior brother, what kind of soul beast are you going to find for us? As everyone moved forward, Helena's voice rang out. If it's Zhuqing, it's naturally an agile soul beast that excels in speed. As for you, senior sister, it's naturally a spiritual type soul beast, or an illusion type soul beast. In short, it should be one that excels in spiritual power. If the conditions allow, it's best to find someone from your family. Lu Yuan smiled and said. My family? Helena looked at Lu Yuan with her big, beautiful eyes. She was a little confused. Your family is a vixen. Lu Yuan laughed. Hearing this, Helena was stunned, then immediately exploded. She bared her fangs and brandished her claws as she pounced at Lu Yuan. You're the vixen, stupid junior brother, die. Lu Yuan chortled and hugged Helena with his left hand. His right hand landed on Helena's butt. Chapter 397. Pack. A loud sound rang out, and the 5 of them heard it clearly. Helena looked at Lu Yuan pitifully. Her eyes were filled with dissatisfaction and complaint towards Lu Yuan. There are so many people here, but this stinky junior brother actually hit her there. That's too embarrassing. Cough cough. Long Xiaoyaro turned around slightly and looked into the distance. He didn't see or hear anything just now. The Ju Douluo's mouth twitched. These 2 fellows aren't here to hunt for soul rings. They're clearly here to play. Where's the tension? However, it made sense when he thought about it. The setting sun forest was a forest where soul beasts older than 50,000 years were rare. An ultimate Douluo and a rank 96 transcendent Douluo were escorting them at the same time. Wasn't it like playing? Where's the tension coming from? Zhu Zhuqing looked at the 2 of them beside her helplessly. The 2 of them were really stuck together all the time. She felt like she was being marginalized again. She couldn't help but think about how the 2 of them were having fun almost every night in Martial Soul City. She was the only one left in the room. Helena was really too clingy. Lu Yuan was basically monopolized by her the moment she arrived. She had to watch from the side all by herself. No, I have to watch over Lu Yuan this time. Helena can forget about monopolizing him. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes flashed with a determined light. Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile when he saw the resentment and complaint in Helena's eyes. It was really interesting to tease this clingy senior sister of his. How could she be so cute? He pinched Helena's smooth cheeks and let go of Helena's left hand. Helena immediately regained her ability to move. Helena puffed her cheeks. As she walked, she stared at Lu Yuan with resentment and indignation. She looked like a punching bag. Looking at Helena's appearance, Lu Yuan could not help but laugh. He reached out his right hand and secretly held Helena's jade-like hand, holding it in his palm. Helena's heart skipped a beat when she felt the warmth from his hand. She couldn't help but smile. This stinky junior brother only knew how to bully her. However, she loved him so much that she couldn't help herself. They were really enemies. Lu Yuan gently squeezed Helena's soft, jade-like hand. He reached out with his left hand and grabbed Zhu Zhuqing's little hand. He couldn't favor one and discriminate against the other. Otherwise, Zhu Zhuqing would definitely be jealous in her heart. Zhu Zhuqing's hand was a little cold and slippery. It was cool and comfortable to hold in his hand. Zhu Zhuqing raised her head slightly when Lu Yuan held her hand. Her eyes were cold as if she didn't care at all. However, if one looked closely, one could see that her lips were curled up in an imperceptible arc. Her right hand that was being held by Lu Yuan also gripped Lu Yuan's left hand tightly. With two beauties on his left and right, Lu Yuan continued forward. Wait! While everyone was walking, Lu Yuan suddenly stopped in his tracks and shouted out. Did you find something? Helena couldn't help but ask. Yes, it's a 10,000-year Dark Knight demon tiger. Lu Yuan's eyes flickered. In a forest 500 meters away, a 3-meter-long tiger-shaped soul beast entered Lu Yuan's eyes. This tiger was completely black. Its black fur was translucent, and there were faint silvery white spots on its fur. It appeared very mysterious. It had a pair of black wings on its back. Only top-tier tiger-type soul beasts could have wings like that. The Dark Knight demon tiger was indeed a rare top-tier tiger-type soul beast. Rascal Yuan, your spiritual power is getting stronger and stronger, the Jew Douluo smiled and said. He was a titled Douluo, so he had naturally discovered the Dark Knight demon tiger's tracks long ago. It was just that he didn't say it out loud. After all, Lu Yuan and the rest were the ones who hunted this soul beast. He and Long Xiaoyaro were only assisting. This was also Lu Yuan's request. However, he didn't expect Lu Yuan to sense it not long after he sensed it. Furthermore, they were 500 meters away. Lu Yuan's spiritual power wasn't simple. It's all right. I didn't expect it to be a Dark Knight demon tiger. This tiger-type soul beast is different from ordinary tiger-type soul beasts. It's best at concealment and stealth. It's extremely fast and explosive. That's why it's not easy to detect. Otherwise, I would have sensed it from far away. Zhuqing, you're very lucky. This Dark Knight demon tiger is very suitable for you. It's about 3 meters long, and its wings are less than 3 feet long. It should be around 12,000 years old. It can be your 4th soul ring. Lu Yuan smiled and said. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing revealed a smile on her face. She didn't expect to find a suitable soul ring for her in less than 4 hours. She was very lucky. The Dark Knight demon tiger is a top-tier soul beast. Its fighting strength is stronger than other soul beasts of the same tier. This 12,000-year Dark Knight demon tiger is comparable to 30 to 40,000-year soul beasts. This means that its strength is comparable to that of a high-level soul emperor. Furthermore, the Dark Knight demon tiger is very fast. That's why we have to be careful when we attack later. I'll be the main attacker. Senior sister, you'll be in charge of controlling it. Zhuqing, you'll be on guard. Don't let it escape. Lu Yuan said. Okay. Got it. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, the two girls nodded. Then it's settled. Let's go. Be careful not to make any noise. Lu Yuan's hand flashed with golden light, and the golden dragon spear appeared in Lu Yuan's hand. Gently suppressing the sound of their footsteps, Lu Yuan and the others slowly approached. The distance of 500 meters gradually shortened as Lu Yuan and the rest moved forward. Lu Yuan's foot landed lightly without making any sound. His polychoria flickered slightly. They were only 100 meters away from the Dark Knight Demon Tiger. Due to the cover of the thorny trees, the Dark Knight Demon Tiger hadn't discovered their tracks yet. "Attack!" Lu Yuan shouted. His body was like a bolt of lightning as he shot forward. His golden dragon martial soul completed the possession in the air. Fourth soul skill, Golden Dragon Roar. Lu Yuan opened his mouth slightly, and a sound wave immediately surged from his mouth towards the Dark Knight Demon Tiger. The sound wave was very fast. The Dark Knight Demon Tiger was hit by the Golden Dragon Roar before it could escape. The sound wave from the Golden Dragon Roar dealt a double blow to the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's body and spirit. Blood flowed out of the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's mouth and nose. Lu Yuan brandished his spear before thrusting it directly toward the Devilish Night Tiger. Taking advantage of the fact that it had been injured by the Golden Dragon Roar, Lu Yuan planned to take care of it in one fell swoop. Chapter 398. As he thrust his spear forward, it was like a flash of silver light. This was the second move of his self-created spear technique, Meteor. Meteor was extremely fast, and its penetrative power was astounding. In addition to Lu Yuan's spear intent, which was close to mastery, the power of this move couldn't be underestimated. The Golden Dragon Spear pierced towards the Dark Knight Demonic Tiger with a powerful aura. The tip of the spear was getting closer and closer. If this spear hit, the Dark Knight Demonic Tiger would completely lose its ability to resist. The Golden Dragon Spear had the ability to devour energy and life energy. It would also filter and enhance the energy before feeding it back to the wielder. With the Golden Dragon Spear, Lu Yuan's endurance in battle was very high. However, Lu Yuan had always been fighting human soul masters, so Lu Yuan usually used the terrifying sharpness of the Golden Dragon Spear. As for the devouring ability of the Golden Dragon Spear, Lu Yuan had never used it before. This was because if he used it against a soul master, he would be severely injured and his life energy would be greatly reduced. If he used it against a soul master, he might even lose his life. Lu Yuan wasn't an evil soul master, nor was he a bloodthirsty person. Therefore, he wouldn't use the Golden Dragon Spear's ability so easily. This wasn't in line with Lu Yuan's character. However, he didn't have so many concerns against the Dark Knight Demonic Tiger. Since he was going to kill it for his soul ring, he might as well let it die quickly so that it wouldn't have to suffer so much. Zhu Zhuqing had no choice but to kill soul beasts to obtain soul rings. Right now, he couldn't change the cultivation method between soul beasts and humans. Even though this cultivation method was a little abnormal, he had no choice but to continue cultivating like this. This was because he could only change this abnormal cultivation method when he was truly powerful. The only thing he could do now was not to kill indiscriminately. Just as the Golden Dragon Spear was about to hit, the Dark Knight Demonic Tiger, which was being attacked by the Golden Dragon Roar, suddenly roared and disappeared. Hey! Lu Yuan was a little surprised that his spear had missed. He turned around and looked around. The Dark Knight Demonic Tiger seemed to have disappeared in the blink of an eye. Heh, interesting. Lu Yuan's polychoria flickered, and bluish-golden light shone from his eyes. Lu Yuan scanned the area, and a huge black tiger appeared in front of him. That's a pretty good concealment skill. Normal soul masters wouldn't be able to discover you, but there's still nowhere for you to hide from me. No matter how strong this concealment skill was, there was no way it could hide from his dual pupils. You've got guts. Lu Yuan could clearly see that the Dark Knight Demon Tiger was circling behind him, wanting to launch an attack. If a normal soul master hadn't been able to discover the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's tracks, they would have been injured by this sudden attack. However, the result was different for Lu Yuan. Spear technique, vast ocean. He turned around and thrust his spear forward. The Golden Dragon Spear flashed with a sharp golden light, and the sound of waves rang out as it pierced toward the oncoming Devilish Night Tiger. The spear pierced through the air, and the Dark Knight Demon Tiger directly rushed over, its sharp claws fiercely clawing at Lu Yuan's chest. Is it unable to target me, or is it immune to physical attacks? Lu Yuan frowned slightly after his spear pierced through the air. He hadn't used the power of spear intent in his spear just now. If the Dark Knight Demon Tiger was immune to physical attacks in its current state, it was understandable that he couldn't hit it. However, if it couldn't target him, then this skill was a little scary. He stepped on the Phoenix Dance's 6 illusions, and the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's attack brushed past him. Although his body was very tyrannical, and the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's attack might not hurt him, he didn't have the habit of taking a beating. To be honest, the Dark Knight Demon Tiger was very fast. If it was really a competition of speed, even an agility system Soul Emperor might not be a match for it. Even Lu Yuan might not be a match for it in terms of speed. However, with his dual pupils, Lu Yuan could perfectly capture its every movement, so Lu Yuan only needed to move slightly to avoid its attack. There was no need to compete with its speed at all. Interesting. I want to see if you're really immune to all attacks. Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed, and he stabbed out with his spear. Vast universe see. This spear wasn't just a physical attack. It also contained Lu Yuan's clear soul power and terrifying spear intent. Ha! The spear stabbed out, and it collided with the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's body again. Roar! The Dark Knight Demon Tiger let out a mournful roar, and its originally hidden figure was revealed once again. Its shiny black body had a hideous wound, and blood was seeping out. The Dark Knight Demon Tiger's wings suddenly spread out, and its speed suddenly increased, and it quickly flew to the side. Want to run? Lu Yuan shouted, and a golden light spread out from his back. A pair of huge dragon wings stretched out from his back, and they were 3 meters long. The huge dragon wings flapped, and Lu Yuan's figure followed closely behind. So fast. The golden dragon spear shot out a spearlight, but the Dark Knight Demon Tiger dodged it. Lu Yuan's dragon wings flapped, and he continued to chase. Junior brother. Just as Lu Yuan and the Dark Knight Demon Tiger were chasing, Hulena and Zhu Zhuqing suddenly appeared in front of the Dark Knight Demon Tiger and intercepted it. Senior sister, quickly use your charm, Lu Yuan hurriedly shouted. Oh, okay. Hearing this, Hulena nodded. Her eyes blinked slightly, and a pink light was emitted, and it went straight for the fleeing Dark Knight Demon Tiger. The Dark Knight Demon Tiger turned around, and its eyes met with Hulena's. Suddenly, its huge body stiffened, and it suddenly slowed down. Unpredictable storm. Seeing this opportunity, Lu Yuan drew a circle in the air with his golden dragon spear, and a golden halo directly bound the Dark Knight Demon Tiger. Suddenly, the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's body stopped, and it fell from the sky. With Lu Yuan's current mastery of unpredictable storm, the Dark Knight Demon Tiger would be immobilized for at least 8 seconds once it was controlled. Here. The golden dragon spear flew through the air and pierced through the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's shoulder, nailing it to the ground. Zhuqing, quick! Lu Yuan landed on the ground and pulled out the golden dragon spear. Immediately, fresh blood spurted out. As he held the golden dragon spear, Lu Yuan felt a wave of pure energy surging towards him from the golden dragon spear. The soul power that he had just expended was instantly replenished. Looking at the golden dragon spear in his hand, Lu Yuan couldn't help but nod slowly. The golden dragon spear was indeed a godly weapon. Oh, okay. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing's sharp claws pierced through the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's throat. Immediately, the severely injured Dark Knight Demon Tiger stopped breathing. Looking at the huge corpse of the Dark Knight Demon Tiger in front of him, and the pitch-black soul ring that was gradually floating above the corpse, Lu Yuan smiled and said, Zhuqing, your 10,000-year fourth soul ring is here. Chapter 399. Looking at the pitch-black 10,000-year soul ring in front of her, Zhu Zhuqing's somewhat cold face carried a trace of unconcealable joy. Even in the entire Douluo continent, there were very few people who could possess a 10,000-year soul ring. At the very least, among all the people that Zhu Zhuqing had heard of, only Lu Yuan had managed to do so. In the original novel, Tang San had also obtained a fourth soul ring. However, that was because he had the help of the 8 spider spear, star anise mysterious ice grass, and the blazing delicate apricot. Tang San didn't have these anymore, so it was a problem whether he could still obtain a fourth soul ring. If Zhu Zhuqing could absorb this 10,000-year soul ring, she would be considered a top-tier talent that was hard to find in the world. Her fourth soul ring was a 10,000-year soul ring. If Zhu Zhuqing were to compete in the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament now, she would definitely attract everyone's attention. Lu Yuan's polychoria flickered slightly as he sensed the strong resentment and the remnant spirit fragments in the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's soul ring. A bluish-gold light instantly engulfed the soul ring, and he activated his spiritual power to completely destroy the spirit fragments that were hidden within. At the same time, he extended his right hand, and his clear divine power, which shone with white light, engulfed the black soul ring. The clear divine power completely dispelled the resentment within the soul ring, leaving only the purest soul ring energy. Speaking of which, this was the first time that Lu Yuan had thought of using the clear divine power after obtaining it for so long. The clear divine power was the nemesis of all evil. Wasn't it very easy to dispel the resentment that some soul beasts hid in their soul rings before they died? It was a pity that Lu Yuan only thought of using it recently. After all, if his dual pupils could shatter a soul fragment, then the clear aura god power would naturally be able to soothe the resentment within the soul ring. After all, the clear aura god power, which contained the power of laws, could be said to be extremely mysterious and wonderful. My horizons have been broadened. This is really broadened. The chrysanthemum Douluo could sense that the power of resentment within his soul ring had been completely eradicated, and only the purest soul ring energy was left behind. A look of astonishment appeared on his face. This was the first time that he had seen something like this from Lu Yuan. He was actually able to dispel the resentment and spirit fragments that a soul beast had left behind in its soul ring before it died. This method was indeed unbelievable. In this way, wasn't the most difficult hurdle of absorbing a 10,000-year soul ring, spiritual shock, easily resolved? This was truly an extraordinary method. Zhu Zhuqing and Hulena were also looking at Lu Yuan's eyes. This was their man. His methods were extraordinary, and he was full of mystery. It was as if there was nothing that could stump him. Zhuqing, come and absorb it. If I'm not wrong, this Dark Knight Demon Tiger will give you a very powerful skill. As he recalled the Dark Knight Demon Tiger's performance during their fight, Lu Yuan revealed a smile on his face. This Dark Knight Demon Tiger was indeed a top-ranked soul beast. It was still a little difficult to deal with, especially its speed. If not for Hulena's help, Lu Yuan wouldn't have been able to catch up to it so easily. It could be imagined that it would be of great help to Zhu Zhuqing. After all, Zhu Zhuqing was an agility-type soul master. Speed and instantaneous offensive power were the most important things to her. This Dark Knight Demon Tiger was evidently very good in these two aspects. Okay. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing nodded her head. She walked to one side and sat down. Her martial soul was attached to her body, and she gently waved her hand. The Dark Knight Demon Tiger's soul ring was directly attached to Zhu Zhuqing's body. Seeing this, Lu Yuan nodded his head at Long Xiaoyao. Long Xiaoyao immediately understood. He unleashed his aura and chased away all the soul beasts around them. This area instantly quieted down. After all, one couldn't be disturbed while absorbing a soul ring. Therefore, Lu Yuan wanted Long Xiaoyao to scare away all the soul beasts around them. He didn't want any soul beasts to barge in. It was a small matter if it barged in and was slapped to death. If it disturbed Zhu Zhuqing and something happened to her, it would be a big deal. Lu Yuan walked to a large tree beside Hulena and stopped. He leaned his body against the tree and focused his eyes on Zhu Zhuqing. For rings after 10,000 years. Zhu Zhuqing must have improved a lot this time. Hulena's voice rang out beside Lu Yuan. What's wrong? Are you envious? Lu Yuan lowered his voice and smiled as he looked at Hulena. Yes, 4 rings after 10,000 years. Sigh, I didn't manage to do it, but Zhu Zhuqing did. Junior brother, am I very useless? Hulena sounded a little disappointed. No, Zhuqing was lucky. She obtained the immortal herb and I gave her a soul bone. That's why she was able to challenge a 10,000-year soul ring. You obtained the yearning heartbroken red and are already at rank 49. You've long surpassed rank 40. It's normal that you can't achieve 4 rings after 10,000 years. Furthermore, senior sister, your 4th soul ring isn't that young either. With the life spirit crystal, your 4th soul ring is at least 6,000 years old. You have to know that even a genius soul master can only achieve 4,000 years old at most. You've already surpassed them by a lot. Furthermore, you've consumed the yearning heartbroken red, and your physique has been greatly strengthened. Your 5th soul ring is basically no problem for you. You have to know that a normal Soul King's 5th soul ring is only 12,000 years old. You're already very impressive. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Really? Junior brother? Do you really think so? Helena asked with some joy. Of course, in my heart, senior sister is already very impressive. You don't have to compare yourself to Zhu Qing. Even Cher didn't manage to achieve 4 rings after 10,000 years, right? So you don't have to take it to heart. Lu Yuan gently stroked Helena's short golden hair and said, Junior brother. With Lu Yuan stroking her hair, Helena immediately narrowed her eyes in comfort. She leaned forward slightly and leaned into Lu Yuan's embrace, sniffing Lu Yuan's scent. Looking at Helena's cute appearance, Lu Yuan's eyes were filled with gentleness. His right hand gently wrapped around Helena's delicate waist and hugged her in his arms. The new generation excels the old. This little girl Zhu Zhuqing is really not simple. To be able to receive such a talented disciple, Old Ghost is really lucky. Seeing that Zhu Zhuqing was gradually absorbing the soul rings, the Zhu Douluo couldn't help but sigh. There was a tinge of regret in his voice. Even the ghost Douluo had found such an outstanding disciple, but he still couldn't find a suitable successor to his legacy. After hearing the Zhu Douluo's voice, Lu Yuan smiled and said, Why? Uncle Zhu, are you looking for a good disciple? Yes, seeing that Old Ghost has such an outstanding disciple, I'm suddenly interested in having a younger brother. The Zhu Douluo laughed. Chapter 400. Hair. With Uncle Zhu's status, if you really want to take in a disciple, there will be so many people coming to take you in. Are you afraid that you won't be able to take in a disciple? Lu Yuan chuckled and said, However, if you want to find someone like Zhu Qing who possesses a superb martial spirit and is also a peerless genius, I'm afraid that it will be a little difficult. Geniuses like Zhu Qing are as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns in the entire continent. Lu Yuan's tone carried a trace of pride. The current Zhu Zhuqing was no longer the Zhu Zhuqing in the original novel. She had a superb martial soul, the 9 lives links, and soul rings that were yellow, purple, and black. She had broken through to become a soul ancestor at the age of 12. Only a peerless genius could achieve this. It would be extremely difficult for the Zhu Douluo to take in a disciple with the same talent as Zhu Zhuqing. Even among the people Lu Yuan knew, only Chihiro Snow's talent was better than Zhu Zhuqing's. Helena and Zhu Zhuqing's talents were only on par, and neither was much stronger than the other. The 10,000-year 4th ring had laid a very good foundation for Zhu Zhuqing, and it had closed the small gap between her and Helena. The two of them were now on par. As for the others, including Ning Rongrong, whose martial soul had evolved into the 9 treasures glazed pagoda, Oscar, whose innate full soul power martial soul was sausage, and Dugu Yang, whose martial soul had evolved from a jade-scaled snake to a jade-scaled flood dragon after consuming the earth dragon golden melon, their talents were inferior to Zhu Zhuqing's by a level. If Zhu Zhuqing could grow up smoothly, she definitely had the potential to become a rank 1 god. In this aspect, Ning Rongrong and Oscar were inferior. If one had to find someone who was at the same level as Zhu Zhuqing, then it would only be Tang San. Although he lacked some opportunities, his twin martial souls were not for show. He still had the potential to become a first-grade god. Apart from him, there was probably no one in the younger generation who could compare to Zhu Zhuqing. No, there might be one more. He recalled the evil soul master, Soul Devil Feather, whom he had met in the life ruins. This person's talent was above that of Helena's, and he had even injured Lu Yuan. Although he had been destroyed by the Duocoria chaotic light, That was the only time Lu Yuan had been injured by someone of the same age as him. Furthermore, evil soul masters were very strange. No one knew if they had any methods to increase their soul power quickly. Furthermore, Lu Yuan had a premonition that he would meet evil soul masters again sooner or later. Lu Yuan's eyes flickered slightly. If he had the chance in the future, he would do his best to eradicate evil soul masters. Even if darkness couldn't be completely eradicated, he would make it cower in a dark corner, and not dare to appear in the world of light. Just as Lu Yuan was deep in thought, the chrysanthemum Douluo's voice rang out with a hint of disappointment in his voice. Indeed, you're right. It's most likely going to be very difficult to find someone as talented as Zhu Zhuqing. After hearing his words, Lu Yuan smiled and didn't say anything else. He gently hugged Helena as he observed Zhu Zhuqing's condition. Absorbing a soul ring was always time-consuming, let alone a 10,000-year soul ring. In the blink of an eye, 4 hours had passed, and the sky had turned dark. A bonfire was lit in the forest, and Lu Yuan and the others were roasting food. As for whether a bonfire in the forest would attract soul beasts, Lu Yuan said that with Long Xiaoyaro and the chrysanthemum Douluo around, he would even dare to light a bonfire in a top-tier forest like the Great Stardow Forest or the Evil Demon Forest. What more in the setting sun forest, where there weren't even 100,000-year soul beasts? Therefore, he wasn't afraid at all. Junior brother, is this rabbit done? Helena couldn't help but swallow her saliva as she looked at the golden-brown rabbit in Lu Yuan's hands and smelled its alluring aroma. What's wrong? Are you hungry? Lu Yuan flipped the rabbit over and asked without turning his head. Yes, I rushed to see you in the day, and didn't eat anything. I'm starving. Helena rubbed her stomach and said coquettishly. Is that so? Then let me take a look. Lu Yuan was roasting the rabbit with his left hand, and his right hand couldn't help but reach towards Helena. Oh, you're really starving. Lu Yuan chuckled as he rubbed Helena's soft stomach. Junior brother. Helena grabbed Lu Yuan's hand and glanced at Long Xiaoyaro and the chrysanthemum Douluo. Her face was a little red, and her tone was a little coquettish. This bad junior brother, how dare he do this to me in public? Haha. After seeing Helena's coquettish look, Lu Yuan smiled and pinched Helena's red cheeks before retracting his hand. Yes, it's almost done now. Lu Yuan nodded as he looked at the glistening and fragrant roasted rabbit in front of him. It was almost ready to eat now. Lu Yuan tore off a rabbit leg and passed it to Helena. Senior sister, be careful, it's hot. Helena took the rabbit leg from Lu Yuan and took a deep breath. It smells so good. Lu Yuan's culinary skills were already very good. Now that Lu Yuan's spiritual power was strong, and he had learned how to refine pills, his control of the fire was almost perfect. Lu Yuan was roasting the rabbit now, and he was roasting it as if he were refining pills. Every bit of heat was controlled perfectly, so how could the roasted rabbit not be fragrant? Helena's red lips opened slightly, and she bit off a piece of rabbit meat with her pearly white teeth. She chewed slightly, and a look of enjoyment appeared on her face. It's delicious. Junior brother, your culinary skills are getting better and better. Helena swallowed the rabbit meat in her mouth, and her eyes were filled with admiration. All right, stop praising me. Isn't your stomach flat from hunger? Hurry up and eat, it won't taste good when it's cold. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Yes. Helena nodded and attacked the rabbit leg in her hand. Lu Yuan also tore off the other hind leg. For animals like rabbits, their hind legs were more developed, and the meat was firmer, more chewy, and more tender. The taste was the best. Gently chewing the rabbit meat, Lu Yuan's gaze swept towards Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing's aura was very stable, and the absorption of the soul ring was abnormally smooth. However, looking at the rich energy fluctuations on her body, it would take at least a few hours for her to finish absorbing it. The energy of a 10,000-year soul ring was still very rich. Zhu Zhuqing wasn't like Lu Yuan, who had the clear chi scripture, clear chi godly power, and the vast ocean's super strong refinement, so her absorption speed was very fast. Zhu Zhuqing knew that it would take a long time to completely digest such rich energy. Looking at the energy fluctuations on the Dark Knight Devil Tiger Soul Ring, as well as the aura on Zhu Zhuqing's body, Lu Yuan estimated that Zhu Zhuqing would reach around rank 45 after absorbing the soul ring. Zhu Zhuqing was originally rank 38, and after consuming the Narcissus Jade muscle bone, she broke through to rank 40. However, that was without a soul ring. With the accumulation of soul power, if she had a soul ring, her rank should be around rank 43. Chapter 401. Furthermore, Zhu Zhuqing had also absorbed a 100,000-year blue-silver emperor's right leg bone in addition to the Narcissus Jade bone. Even though this leg bone didn't mainly increase soul power, the energy it carried could still increase Zhu Zhuqing's soul power by 1 rank. There was also her fourth 10,000-year soul ring. Its energy was astonishing, and Zhu Zhuqing's soul power would definitely increase by more than 1 rank after absorbing it. Therefore, Zhu Zhuqing's soul power would probably reach rank 45. Rank 45 was almost catching up to Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan was only at rank 47 right now. After all, the herbs that Lu Yuan consumed were all aimed at strengthening his physique and spiritual power. They didn't have much of an effect on increasing his soul power. However, Lu Yuan's soul power had been depleted many times over the past few days of cultivation, as well as the continuous crafting of soul tools and pill refining. However, he quickly recovered his soul power, and his soul power was already at rank 47. It wouldn't be long before he broke through to rank 48. It had to be said that the speed of cultivation would be much faster when one's soul power was fully depleted and then recovered. Lu Yuan had only broken through to rank 47 for less than a month, but he was already at the bottleneck of rank 48. This speed could be said to be very fast. Although Lu Yuan's schedule was full every day for more than 10 days, he still had a lot of gains. After quickly finishing the rabbit meat in his hands, Lu Yuan found a tree to lean against. Helena leaned against his shoulder, and the two of them enjoyed the tranquility of the forest. Morning. Lu Yuan opened his eyes. There was a light dew on his body, and the cold morning dew woke him up from his sleep. Helena was still sleeping soundly. She was wearing a fox fur coat that Lu Yuan had once made for her. It was the one that belonged to Lu Yuan. The fur of the 49,999 years old dreamy demonic fox was used by Salas to make a total of 1 set of men's fox fur coats and 3 sets of women's fox fur coats. The 3 female fox fur coats were for Chihiro Snow, Zhu Zhuqing, and Bibidon. As Helena had obtained the dreamy skull, Lu Yuan didn't consider Helena when he distributed the fox fur coats. However, the weather was very cold last night. Lu Yuan was afraid that Helena would catch a cold, so he put his fox fur coat on Helena. After all, Lu Yuan's original intention was to make a woman's fox fur coat. He didn't like such things, but Sarkis took the liberty to make a man's fox fur coat. Ever since Lu Yuan received it, he had kept it in his astral ring and never touched it. Now that he had put it on Helena, he was making the best use of it. As he scanned his surroundings, Long Xiaoyaro was still standing guard. When he saw that Lu Yuan had woken up, he nodded at Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan smiled back. Lu Yuan was very grateful to Long Xiaoyaro. After all, even though he was summoned by the system, he had followed Lu Yuan closely and helped him a lot. If there was a chance, Lu Yuan really hoped that he could sign in and obtain another titled Douluo draw card. When that happened, he could summon the death god Douluo Yi Shishure. That would give Long Xiaoyaro a companion. However, Lu Yuan was very clear about the system's character. He didn't know when he would be able to obtain another titled Douluo draw card. Furthermore, even if he did obtain another titled Douluo draw card, it would be extremely difficult to draw the death god Douluo Yi Shishure. Therefore, Lu Yuan was only thinking about it. As he turned his gaze, Lu Yuan slowly scanned his surroundings with his polychoria. His gaze stopped in Zhu Zhuqing's direction. The sky was starting to brighten, but Zhu Zhuqing's soul ring absorption wasn't done yet. It had to be said that 10,000-year soul rings were very difficult to absorb. Even with Zhu Zhuqing's current physique, she still needed so much time. However, Lu Yuan knew that Zhu Zhuqing's soul ring absorption was coming to an end when he saw that her undulations were becoming more and more stable. However, he didn't know what kind of powerful skill the Dark Knight Demon Tiger would give Zhu Zhuqing. The Dark Knight Demon Tiger was a top-tier soul beast, while the Nine Lives Lynx was a transcendent martial soul. With these two added together, Zhu Zhuqing's fourth soul skill would definitely be extraordinary. Right now, Zhu Zhuqing was in the state of being possessed by her martial soul. Her ears had become furry cat ears, and her fair hands had long and sharp claws. A long and thin black tail swayed back and forth in the air behind her. Zhu Zhuqing looked very charming like this. Just as Lu Yuan was staring at Zhu Zhuqing, Helena's voice sounded from one side, "Zhu Zhuqing's soul ring absorption isn't over yet? You're awake." Lu Yuan smiled as he saw Helena's sleepy look. "Did you sleep well?" Lu Yuan asked gently. "Of course I slept well, junior brother," Helena giggled. There was a satisfied look on her face. To her, as long as she could be with Lu Yuan, she would feel happy from the bottom of her heart. After hearing this, Lu Yuan wore a warm smile on his face. There was a doting look in his eyes as he gently rubbed Helena's head. This senior sister is really too lovable. Zhu Zhuqing's soul ring absorption is almost over, right? Helena asked softly as she saw the undulations around Zhu Zhuqing's body gradually calming down. Yes, it's almost over. Zhu Zhuqing's aura had stabilized. She was indeed almost done absorbing. Lu Yuan lifted his head and looked at Zhu Zhuqing. The light slowly dissipated, and the pitch-black soul ring entered Zhu Zhuqing's body. Instantly, another black soul ring appeared beneath Zhu Zhuqing's body. The Nine Lives Lynx's eyes, which had been tightly shut, suddenly opened. A strong aura was released from Zhu Zhuqing's body. Rank 45. Indeed, it's within my expectations. Lu Yuan immediately assessed Zhu Zhuqing's soul power rank as he felt the strength of her aura. With the combined effects of the Narcissus Jade Musclebone, the 10,000-year fourth ring, and the 100,000-year Blue-Silver Emperor right leg bone, Zhu Zhuqing successfully rose from rank 38 to rank 45. It had to be said that this was a huge improvement. Moreover, this kind of improvement had almost no hidden dangers. The immortal herb was originally meant to strengthen one's foundation, and Zhu Zhuqing had also used the qi tempering pill to temper her soul power. Therefore, not only was Zhu Zhuqing's soul power not superficial, but it was also quite solid. She's already at rank 45. With the effects of the spirit-raising pill, Zhu Qing's soul power might be able to reach the Soul King realm in the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament in a little more than a year. This is a little impressive. Zhu Qing was only 14 years old then. Lu Yuan was secretly amazed. A 14-year-old Soul King. This had already broken Chihiro Snow's record. One had to know that Chihiro Snow was already 15 years old when he became a Soul King. Sometimes, he really didn't expect Zhu Zhuqing to have unknowingly grown to such a level. Chapter 402. Apart from Zhu Zhuqing and the current Lu Yuan, only Zhu Zhuqing could become a 14-year-old Soul King. It was basically impossible for anyone else to do so. To be able to achieve such an achievement, Zhu Zhuqing was really proud. Zhu Zhuqing had always been the least talented among his women, but now Zhu Zhuqing had used her own efforts and a certain opportunity to suddenly rise up. Lu Yuan was really proud of her from the bottom of his heart. 4 rings in 10,000 years, this had already broken the so-called limit of geniuses. Now, Zhu Zhuqing was also beginning to emit her own dazzling brilliance. After absorbing the soul ring, Zhu Zhuqing, who had her eyes closed, suddenly opened them. Under the martial soul possession state, Zhu Zhuqing's originally black pupils were like her martial soul 9 Lives Lynx. They had already turned cold and clear blue. Yellow, purple, and black soul rings were shining brightly under her body. "Ah, I have to say, with a 10,000-year soul ring, you really look different." Lu Yuan stood up and walked in Zhu Zhuqing's direction with a soft laugh. Seeing Lu Yuan stand up, Helena followed closely behind and said with a smile, "Especially the 4th soul ring with a 10,000-year soul ring. The impact on others can be said to be quite huge." There was a trace of envy in her eyes. Having 4 rings in 10,000 years was very impressive. After all, it broke the best soul ring combination. Among the people that Helena knew, apart from the abnormal Lu Yuan, Zhu Zhuqing was the only one with 4 rings in 10,000 years. A soul ancestor with 4 rings in 10,000 years was much more eye-catching than a soul king with the best soul ring combination. Moreover, Lu Yuan himself was the kind of monster that surpassed the best soul ring combination. His soul ring combination was yellow, purple, and black. Zhu Zhuqing now had 4 rings in 10,000 years. Her soul ring combination was yellow, purple, and black. The two of them were obviously more compatible when walking together. This was the biggest reason why Helena was envious. Hearing their voices, a smile flashed across Zhu Zhuqing's face. Zhu Zhuqing was also very satisfied with her 4th soul ring. Zhuqing, what skill did the Dark Knight Demon Tiger give you? For a top-ranked soul beast like the Dark Knight Demon Tiger, the soul skill it will give you will definitely be extraordinary, Lu Yuan asked. Haven't you always been very knowledgeable about martial souls? Take a guess. Zhu Zhuqing blinked her eyes. There was a hint of playfulness in her cold tone. It could be seen that she was in a really good mood. So, Zhuqing, are you testing me? Lu Yuan chuckled and said, since you said so, then I'll do a simple analysis. The Dark Knight Demonic Tiger is a special tiger-type soul beast. It has a pair of Dark Knight wings, which allows it to move very quickly. Your 9 Lives Lynx is also a top-notch agility-type martial soul. It specializes in reaction and speed, so your 4th soul skill must have something to do with speed. This is the first point. The second point is that the Dark Knight Demon Tiger is adept at stealth and concealment. The 9 Lives Lynx is also adept at stealth. When I was fighting with the Dark Knight Demon Tiger just now, the concealment skill it displayed was rather mysterious. Therefore, the possibility of you obtaining this ability is not small. Thirdly, the Dark Knight Demon Tiger has also shown the ability to be immune to physical attacks and weaken energy attacks. This ability is very powerful. With the strength of your 9 Lives Cat martial soul, there's a certain chance that you'll be able to obtain such a top-tier ability. Combining these 3 points, I'm leaning towards your 4th soul skill being a concealment skill. Furthermore, during the concealment process, you can increase your speed and be immune to physical attacks. Such a skill is very powerful, so there must be a time limit. This time limit should not exceed a minute. Facing Zhu Zhuqing's question, Lu Yuan spoke frankly with assurance. So, Zhuqing, am I right? Lu Yuan asked softly with a smile on his face. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing's face revealed a trace of admiration and pride. You're basically right. My 4th soul skill is called Dark Knight Sneak Attack. The effect is that after using this skill, I can enter a concealment state. In the concealment state, I can hide my body, increase my speed by 50%, be immune to physical attacks and 50% of energy attacks, and increase my attack power by 50%. It's just that this skill can only be used 3 times a day, and it can only be used for about a minute each time, Zhu Zhuqing said softly. Hiss. Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Helena couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Zhu Zhuqing's 4th soul ring was a little powerful. It actually had so many effects. Was this the terror of a 10,000-year 4th ring? Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Lu Yuan couldn't help but nod. The effect of Zhu Zhuqing's 4th soul skill was indeed a little amazing. A 50% increase in speed and attack power wasn't surprising. After all, Zhu Zhuqing was an agility-type soul master, and it was normal for her to add these 2 abilities. However, if it was combined with concealment, immunity to physical attacks and 50% immunity to energy attacks, this skill was a little heaven-defying. With this soul skill, Zhu Zhuqing's fighting power was simply skyrocketing. However, the more powerful a soul skill was, the more restrictions it had. It could only be used 3 times a day, and each time was a minute. This meant that Zhu Zhuqing could only use this Dark Knight Sneak Attack as her trump card, and couldn't use it casually. Even so, Zhu Zhuqing was more like an agility-type soul master with this skill. She could be said to be an assassin in the dark. This Dark Knight Demon Tiger seemed to be very compatible with Zhu Zhuqing's 9 Lives Lynx. After all, the higher the compatibility, the better the effect of the soul skill. The most typical example was Lu Yuan's 2nd soul skill. As his 2nd soul ring came from the golden armored dragon turtle, which had the bloodline of the golden dragon, Lu Yuan was able to obtain his second soul skill, the Golden Dragon War Body. A 200% increase in defense and immunity to all control-type skills. This was even more heaven-defying than Zhu Zhuqing's fourth soul skill. This was a top-grade soul skill that could only be produced when one's martial soul and soul ring were extremely compatible. It was also because of this that soul masters would look for soul rings that were most suitable for them when they were hunting for soul rings. This was the only way to obtain better soul skills. Zhuqing, it seems like you've really obtained a very good soul skill. With this soul skill, your fighting power will increase greatly. I'm afraid there won't be many opponents in the Soul Ancestor realm who can match you. This 10,000-year fourth ring was indeed not a mistake. Lu Yuan smiled and said, "It's all thanks to you." The coldness on Zhu Zhuqing's pretty face thawed, and a rare smile hung on her face. She was able to absorb the 10,000-year fourth ring all because of this fellow in front of her. If he hadn't given her so many treasures, her physique wouldn't have reached its current level. After all, without these, she could only absorb a 1,000-year soul ring when she reached rank 40. It would be impossible for her to absorb a 10,000-year soul ring. Chapter 403. Lu Yuan was momentarily stunned when he saw the smile on Zhu Zhuqing's face. Following which, he revealed a warm smile on his face. He stepped forward and extended his right hand towards Zhu Zhuqing, who was sitting on the ground. Zhu Zhuqing was momentarily stunned when she saw Lu Yuan's actions. After that, she slowly dissipated her martial soul and placed her snow-white body in Lu Yuan's hands. Lu Yuan gently pulled Zhu Zhuqing's body into his embrace. "Isn't this what I should do? You're my woman." Lu Yuan gently caressed Zhu Zhuqing's face with his right hand as he spoke gently. Zhu Zhuqing revealed a warm smile on her face when she heard this. She nodded her head gently and burrowed into Lu Yuan's embrace. Honestly speaking, it's not bad to be this fellow's woman. The sun gradually rose, and golden sunlight shone through the gaps in the forest onto everyone's bodies. After Zhu Zhuqing absorbed her soul ring, Lu Yuan and the rest ate some dry rations as breakfast before they continued to advance. Zhu Zhuqing's soul ring was settled, but Helena's soul ring was still unsettled. Helena's current soul ring tolerance limit was 25,000 years. Therefore, they had to find a soul beast that was at least 20,000 years old to not waste a soul ring slot. After all, the age of a soul ring was very important. Therefore, it was best to absorb a soul ring close to the tolerance limit of each soul ring. This would bring about the greatest benefits. They formed the same formation as yesterday. Lu Yuan walked in front, while Helena and Zhu Zhuqing followed beside him. Long Xiaoyaro and the Ju Douluo walked behind them. As Helena's soul ring required a slightly older age, Lu Yuan and the rest still had to go deeper into the forest. The setting sun forest was only a high-ranked forest, and naturally couldn't be compared to the Great Star Do forest, where top-ranked soul beasts resided. It was probably difficult to find a 100,000-year soul beast in the entire setting sun forest. There weren't many soul beasts that were over 50,000 years old in this forest, so soul beasts that were over 20,000 years old were considered overlords in the setting sun forest. These soul beasts definitely lived in the deeper parts of the forest, so Lu Yuan and the others had no choice but to go deeper into the forest to find a suitable soul ring for Helena. As he walked, Lu Yuan suddenly stopped in his tracks. "What's wrong, junior brother? Did you discover something again?" Helena hurriedly asked when she saw that Lu Yuan had stopped. There was a hint of surprise in her voice. Lu Yuan had found the Dark Knight Demon Tiger the last time he stopped. Could it be that Lu Yuan had found a suitable soul beast for her this time? "Senior sister, did you hear the sound of a sharp object piercing into a tree trunk?" Lu Yuan asked. "No." Helena shook her head. She didn't hear anything at all. "What about you?" Zhuqing? Lu Yuan looked at Zhu Zhuqing beside him. "I didn't hear anything either." Zhu Zhuqing also shook her head. She didn't sense anything at all. "Is that so?" Lu Yuan furrowed his brows. He had clearly heard the sound of a sharp object piercing into a tree trunk, but it was gone now. Furthermore, when he scanned his surroundings, there wasn't any movement in front of him. Did he see wrongly? Lu Yuan shook his head. He believed in his own senses. He didn't hear wrongly, so there was only one possibility: something was blocking his vision. Lu Yuan thought of something, and his eyes flashed with bluish-gold light. He scanned his surroundings. He wanted to see if there was anything that could hide from his eyes. He scanned his surroundings. Under the bluish-gold light, a huge black spider covered in thick armor was attacking Lu Yuan and the others. It had 8 sharp claws, and as it pierced the tree trunk, it was as easy as piercing tofu. The huge spider's body was dripping with white mucus. The strangest thing was that its abdomen was a pale white human face. Man-faced demon spider. Lu Yuan recognized this soul beast at a glance. Furthermore, from the length of its 8 legs, he could tell that this man-faced demon spider was at least 10,000 years old. There's actually a 10,000-year man-faced demon spider in the setting sun forest. There was a trace of astonishment on Lu Yuan's face. He originally thought that only a top-tier soul beast forest like the Great Star Do Forest could have a 10,000-year man-faced demon spider. He didn't expect that there would be one in the setting sun forest. After all, man-faced demon spiders were known as evil killers. They used the flesh of other soul beasts as energy to increase their cultivation. It was very easy for other soul beasts to gang up and attack them. Therefore, it was very difficult for a man-faced demon spider to reach the 10,000-year level under these circumstances. In the original work, it was mentioned that a 5,000-year man-faced demon spider had appeared in the setting sun forest. In the end, it died at the hands of Tang San. However, a 5,000-year man-faced demon spider and a 10,000-year man-faced demon spider were two different things. At the 10,000-year level, man-faced demon spiders would have an additional skill called Spider God's Possession. It could increase its strength by burning its own cultivation. It was an extremely powerful skill. Lu Yuan's eyes lit up when he saw this soul beast. If he didn't remember incorrectly, man-faced demon spiders were like dark golden terror-claw bears. The chances of them dropping soul bones were very high, and the ones they dropped were basically external soul bones. In the original work, Tang San had killed 3 man-faced demon spiders, and 2 of them had dropped external soul bones. This kind of drop rate could be said to be extremely high. Lu Yuan had also encountered a 30,000-year man-faced demon spider before. However, this man-faced demon spider had been slapped into a pulp by Long Xiaoyao. Its death had been too quick and direct, so it hadn't dropped any soul bones. Now that they had encountered a 10,000-year man-faced demon spider, Lu Yuan couldn't help but have an idea. As long as he could force this man-faced demon spider to the end of its rope and force it to use the Spider God's Possession skill, then the chances of it dropping a soul bone would be abnormally high. Lu Yuan revealed a disdainful smile as he looked at the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider that was still stealthily moving towards them. Perhaps it was because a savage soul beast like the man-faced demon spider had hunted other soul beasts too many times, so it didn't know what fear was. Previously, the 30,000-year man-faced demon spider had attacked him and Long Xiaoyao. Now, this 10,000-year man-faced demon spider was attacking them. Since you like to take the initiative to attack others, then don't go back now that you're here. Lu Yuan didn't like ugly and savage soul beasts like the man-faced demon spider. After all, he was completely obsessed with appearances. Now that this man-faced demon spider was treating them as food and wanted to hunt them down, Lu Yuan could only send it to the afterlife. At the same time, he wanted to see if he was lucky enough to get an external soul bone to play with. After all, Lu Yuan was very interested in external soul bones. This kind of thing was quite valuable. Chapter 404. 10,000-year man-faced demon spiders had a stealth skill that allowed them to conceal themselves. Even spiritual power couldn't detect them. That was why this 10,000-year man-faced demon spider hadn't been detected even when it was so close to Lu Yuan and the others. If it weren't for the fact that Lu Yuan's 5 senses were exceptionally sensitive, he wouldn't have been able to detect the spider's sharp legs cutting into the tree trunk. Once he heard the sound, Lu Yuan immediately activated his polychoria. Under his polychoria, even the best concealment skills would be rendered useless. No concealment soul skill could escape his polychoria. The Dark Knight demon tiger couldn't, and neither could this 10,000-year man-faced demon spider. "Junior brother, what's going on?" Helena couldn't help but ask from the side. "There's a 10,000-year man-faced demon spider that doesn't know what's good for it and is attacking us." Lu Yuan smiled faintly, but his tone was very cold. "A 10,000-year man-faced demon spider?" Hearing this, Helena and Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but open their mouths slightly. It turned out that something was really happening. This bastard's senses were as accurate as ever. "Wait here. I'll go and get rid of it." A faint smile appeared on Lu Yuan's face as he raised his golden dragon spear and stomped his foot into the ground. A deep crater was instantly created beneath his feet, and Lu Yuan's body was propelled out of the crater at a rapid speed. Right now, Lu Yuan's strength had reached a terrifying 95,000 kilograms. What did 95,000 kilograms mean? Generally speaking, a titled Douluo's strength was only around 100,000 kilograms. Lu Yuan's strength was almost comparable to an ordinary titled Douluo's. Although strength didn't completely represent combat power, sometimes, that incomparably huge strength was quite terrifying. His body shot out rapidly. In mid-air, the golden dragon armor instantly appeared on Lu Yuan's body. That handsome golden armor was draped over his body once again. The dazzling icy blue and fiery red cloud patterns on the armor made it even more gorgeous. Lu Yuan had 3 external soul bones. The heaven-raising palmar bone was completely black and ordinary, but it increased his strength. The dark golden terraclaw bear's right palm bone came with the dark golden terraclaw skill, which was extremely powerful. It had once injured Liu Erlong when she was in her martial soul true body state. What was left was the golden dragon armor, which increased defense and immunity to negative statuses. At the same time, it could also greatly increase one's strength. It was Lu Yuan's most used and favorite external soul bone. It was not only because it was practical, but more importantly, it was very cool and made her look good wearing it. He was obsessed with looks. At this moment, facing the poisonous mannequin spider, Lu Yuan put on his golden dragon armor. Seeing Lu Yuan rushing towards it, the man-faced demon spider paused and opened its ugly mouth. Its pale face was filled with malevolence. "Chimph, show yourself first." Seeing this, Lu Yuan snorted. His polychoria opened, and a white light condensed. Polychoria, chaotic light. The white light struck the man-faced demon spider's body at lightning speed. Immediately, the man-faced demon spider was sent flying. Its thick and hard armor was like nothing in front of the chaotic light. It was completely disintegrated, and grayish-white mucus with a strong fishy smell dripped from its body. Lu Yuan had controlled the power of this attack. Otherwise, it was very likely that this attack would have severely injured the man-faced demon spider, or even killed it. With Lu Yuan's spiritual power that was comparable to a soul Douluo's, and with the chaotic light, this kind of power was not something a 10,000-year man-faced demon spider could withstand. Even if the man-faced demon spider was much stronger than ordinary soul beasts, it was only comparable to a human soul emperor. A mere soul emperor wanted to take on Lu Yuan's chaotic light? Even if it was a little difficult. Lu Yuan wanted to obtain the attached soul bone. Naturally, he wouldn't kill it so easily. If he did, there was an 80% chance that his efforts would be in vain, and he wouldn't be able to obtain anything. The man-faced demon spider wailed miserably. Its 8 sharp spider legs danced in the air, and the eyes on its face flickered with ferocity and resentment. After being hit by the chaotic light, the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider could no longer hide its body, and was directly exposed to everyone. Its ferocious appearance instantly caused Helena and Zhu Zhuqing to furrow their brows. Just from its appearance alone, this man-faced demon spider was truly ugly. The two of them were actually a little obsessed with looks. Lu Yuan held the golden dragon spear in his hand, and his body flew forward again. Spear technique, falling star. His spear was like a bolt of lightning, and it was suffused with a dazzling silver light as it pierced towards the man-faced demon spider. Seeing Lu Yuan's powerful aura, the man-faced demon spider opened its mouth and spat out a stream of white mucus. Then, it transformed into a large net with a radius of 5 meters in the air, and covered Lu Yuan. What a coincidence. A spider web skill? Lu Yuan chuckled. Golden light burst forth, and the golden dragon martial soul was instantly attached to his body. The biting cold dragon's might that belonged to the golden dragon immediately pervaded the air. At the same time, the purple soul ring of the second person lit up. Second soul skill, Golden Dragon War Body. The Golden Dragon War Body increased one's defensive power by 200% and made one immune to all control-type skills. Once the Golden Dragon War Body was unleashed, Lu Yuan's body seemed to be enveloped by a layer of golden light. When the huge spider web came into contact with that layer of golden light, it suddenly disappeared into thin air, and then collapsed into nothingness. Seeing this scene, the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider seemed to be frightened. It took a few steps back, and a trace of bewilderment flickered in its resentful eyes. It had never seen such a strange situation. It had clearly hit, but the spider web had directly lost its effect. However, Lu Yuan didn't hesitate at all. His golden dragon spear descended like a meteor from the sky, and directly pierced into the man-faced demon spider's body, and began to madly devour it. Squeak! After being pierced by the golden dragon spear, the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider began to struggle violently. At the same time, a trace of grey light began to emit from its body, and its aura began to rapidly rise. Its body suddenly expanded from nearly 3 meters to 5 meters, and countless sharp barbs grew out of each of its thick spider legs. Layer after layer of grey air began to spread out. The armor on the body of the 10,000-year demonic man-faced spider had at least doubled in size. Moreover, the armor that had been shattered by Lu Yuan's light of primal chaos had also been repaired. The powerful aura actually directly broke Lu Yuan's golden dragon spear out of its body. Lu Yuan took a few steps back, and looked at the man-faced demon spider that had undergone such a transformation. His dual pupils flickered with a bright light. The spider god's possession. I've finally forced it out, Lu Yuan muttered. Chapter 405. In a sense, the spider god's possession of the man-faced demon spider was very similar to a human soul master's martial soul true body, except that it was more powerful. Under the spider god's possession state, the man-faced demon spider's cultivation would be burned away for a year every time it was in this state. If it maintained this state for a long time, the man-faced demon spider would collapse without Lu Yuan even needing to do anything. Therefore, the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider wouldn't normally use this skill. It would only use it when its life was in grave danger. Once it used it, it would mean that it was going to fight for its life. Under the spider god's possession state, this 10,000-year man-faced demon spider's aura is actually comparable to a high-level soul sage. As expected of a trump card used to fight for its life. Lu Yuan sighed softly. Right now, the man-faced demon spider's aura wasn't inferior to Liu Erlong's. If Lu Yuan didn't use his polychoria, this would have been a tough battle. However, he didn't have the time to waste on this 10,000-year man-faced demon spider. The spider god's possession has already been used, and such a strong resentment has already reached its peak. Lu Yuan said indifferently. The man-faced demon spider was forced to use the spider god's possession to fight for its life. How could its resentment not be strong? This skill would burn away its cultivation. This 10,000-year man-faced demon spider had only just reached 10,000 years of age. If it burned its cultivation for a long time, it might even fall to the level of a 10,000-year soul beast. Under such circumstances, its resentment would definitely be extremely strong. Just as Lu Yuan was sizing up the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider, the man-faced demon spider regained its huge spider leg and stabbed it towards Lu Yuan. Under the spider god's possession state, the man-faced demon spider's leg was 4 meters long and covered in barbs. It was very thick and looked very sinister. Furthermore, the man-faced demon spider's corrosive and neurotoxic properties were also abnormally terrifying. In the face of this stab, Lu Yuan countered with a flick of his golden dragon spear. The golden dragon spear clashed with the spider's leg, and Lu Yuan remained completely still, while the man-faced demonic spider's massive body was only pushed back a few meters. It seems that under the spider god's possession state, your strength has really increased a lot. However, I have no interest in playing with you anymore. As soon as Lu Yuan's voice fell, the blue-gold light in his polychoria condensed, and his divine might was awe-inspiring. Polychoria, immeasurable light. 2 rays of dazzling blue-gold light shot out, bringing with them a rich spiritual fluctuation. The blue-gold light collided with the man-faced demon spider, who was in the state of being possessed by the spider god. The bluish-gold light directly pierced through the 10,000-year-old man-faced demon spider, and wherever it hit, it dissipated into nothingness. The 10,000-year-old man-faced demon spider was directly knocked out of the spider god's possession state. Lu Yuan's figure moved forward, and the golden dragon spear directly stabbed into the body of the 10,000-year-old man-faced demon spider, and began to rapidly devour its energy. The man-faced demon spider was different from the dark golden terraclaw bear in that it also dropped external soul bones. The external soul bones of the man-faced demon spider were hidden in its energy, while those of the dark golden terraclaw bear were like ordinary soul bones that could be dropped directly. Generally speaking, there were 2 types of external soul bones that could be dropped. The first type was that they dropped directly, and the second type was that they appeared on the body of the person who absorbed the energy after it was absorbed. Self-determined, don't scold me if you don't like it. Just like the 3 external soul bones in Lu Yuan's body, the dark golden terraclaw bear's right palm bone was a reward from the system, and the Atlas palm bone was directly obtained by the fellows from the Atlas demonic ape's left palm. This was just like how ordinary soul bones dropped. The golden dragon battle armor was different from the Atlas palm bone. The golden dragon battle armor appeared on Lu Yuan's body after he absorbed the golden armored dragon turtle's soul ring. This meant that it appeared on his body after he absorbed the energy. Lu Yuan made a guess as to how these external soul bones appeared. If they were external soul bones that were related to the limbs, then they might appear in the same way as ordinary soul bones, and just drop directly. If they were external soul bones related to the torso and spine, then they would appear hidden in the energy, and only appear on the body of the person who absorbed the energy after the soul ring was finished absorbing it. Of course, this was only Lu Yuan's guess. It was hard to say if this was really the case. The soul bones that the man-faced demon spider dropped were definitely external soul bones that were similar to the 8 spider spear, just like how the evil eye only dropped its skull. This was determined by the special nature of soul beasts. And what Lu Yuan was doing now was to confirm his own guess. The golden dragon spear crazily devoured the energy of the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider, and it surged towards Lu Yuan like a tide. After being filtered by the golden dragon spear, the energy was extremely pure, so Lu Yuan simply refined it before quickly absorbing it. The 10,000-year man-faced demon spider's energy was still very strong. At the very least, this 10,000-year man-faced demon spider's fighting strength was much stronger than the Dark Knight demon tiger that Zhu Zhuqing had absorbed. After all, although they were both top-tier soul beasts, the man-faced demon spider was known as the evil slaughterer for a reason. Their fighting strength was still very strong. It was only because Lu Yuan was immune to control-type skills and negative statuses, as well as his powerful dual pupils, that he was able to kill the man-faced demon spider so easily. Otherwise, even a soul sage wouldn't be able to kill this 10,000-year man-faced demon spider so easily. At the very least, that soul sage would definitely have been injured. After all, the man-faced demon spider's spider god possession was quite powerful. The golden dragon spear stabbed straight into the man-faced demon spider's body, and the golden dragon spear crazily devoured its energy. Golden light shone brightly from the body of the spear. This was the first time Lu Yuan had used the golden dragon spear's devouring ability so recklessly since he had obtained it. It had to be said that it was very terrifying. The pure energy that had been filtered was very nourishing for Lu Yuan. He was already at rank 47, but with the infusion of this energy, he leveled up again and directly broke through to rank 48. After reaching rank 48, Lu Yuan's soul force had become even more abundant, and his strength had also increased slightly. After receiving such benefits, Lu Yuan naturally increased the devouring ability of the golden dragon spear. The energy that belonged to the man-faced demon spider was quickly absorbed, and the man-faced demon spider's huge body slowly shriveled up. Its black armor gradually turned grayish-white because it had lost its energy. It originally gave off an indestructible feeling, but now it seemed like it could be torn apart with a casual stab. Lu Yuan slowly refined the man-faced demon spider's energy and increased his cultivation. Suddenly, Lu Yuan's eyes focused, and there was a trace of surprise in his eyes. Chapter 406. Lu Yuan could sense that a special type of energy had entered his body through the golden dragon spear. That energy was very strange. Not only was it not refined and absorbed by the Clear Breath Sutra's soul power like other types of energy, it even flowed through his passageways and surged towards Lu Yuan's back. This discovery made Lu Yuan's eyes narrow, and his polychoria was filled with surprise. This was not the first time he had experienced something like this. When he had absorbed the golden armored dragon turtle's soul ring, he had also felt this strange energy. It's surging towards my back. Is it an external soul bone? Lu Yuan muttered softly, and the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. All his efforts had not been in vain, and he had even purposely forced the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider to use its spider god's possession skill. His efforts had finally paid off. One had to know that the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider was very strong when it was possessed by the spider god. The reason why Lu Yuan had been able to kill it in one strike was because he had used the second eye skill of his polychoria, Immeasurable Light. Immeasurable Light was even more powerful than Chaotic Light. With Lu Yuan's spiritual power, Immeasurable Light could severely injure anyone below the level of a soul Douluo. If one's spiritual power was weaker, they might even be killed instantly. The consumption of Immeasurable Light was also shocking. Lu Yuan had only used Chaotic Light and Immeasurable Light once, and 60% of his spiritual power had already been consumed. If he used Immeasurable Light again, he would not be far from fainting. Indeed, the stronger the skill, the greater the consumption. With his spiritual power that was comparable to a soul Douluo's, he would be completely unconscious after 3 Immeasurable Lights. This kind of consumption really made people secretly click their tongues. Polychoria was a powerful weapon, but it could only be used as a trump card to win in one fell swoop. As he felt the strange energy in his body burrowing towards his back, Lu Yuan mobilized the clear breath and divine power in his body to envelop that energy. If he allowed this energy to flow freely towards his back, he could very well obtain an external soul bone similar to Tang Samba's spider spear. Such an external soul bone would undoubtedly increase Lu Yuan's strength by quite a bit. However, after careful consideration, Lu Yuan still chose not to absorb it. There were 3 reasons. The first reason was because of Lu Yuan. He already had 3 external soul bones. To a normal person, an external soul bone was a priceless treasure that was hard to come by, but to Lu Yuan, one more wasn't that useful. Furthermore, he was a strength-type soul master, and the 8 spider spear wasn't that useful to him. Secondly, a soul bone like the 8 spider spear was extremely poisonous, making it more suitable for poison-type soul masters. Lu Yuan's golden dragon was a top-tier beast soul, and it was the strongest of the strongest. Lu Yuan didn't like to use poison. Furthermore, if one had to talk about compatibility, the 8 spider spear was more suitable for one person, and that person was someone very important to Lu Yuan. The third reason, which was also the most important reason, was that Lu Yuan didn't want to absorb it. A soul bone like the 8 spider spear was too ugly. It had 8 spider legs behind it. Just thinking about it made Lu Yuan's scalp go numb. He was completely obsessed with appearances, and a beautiful external soul bone like the golden dragon armor was his favorite. The clear breath and divine power engulfed that strange energy before it rushed into Lu Yuan's sea of consciousness and preserved it there. There were a few big shots living in his sea of consciousness. The pitch-black Godslayer spear that was suffused with blood-red light occupied the core position. It didn't move at all, and was extremely cold. The white clear breath and divine seed exuded a bright white light. Other than the central island where the Godslayer spear was located, the rest of the bluish-gold ocean and the sky above his sea of consciousness were filled with white light. In the bluish-gold ocean, near the core region, a triangular cover that was flickering with a bright blue light was floating in the water. It was the vast sea cosmic cover. There was nothing he could do about it. The vast sea cosmic shroud was the most important part of the sea god's trident, and it was imbued with the boundless divine power of the vast sea. However, in the face of the god-slaying spear and the clear-air divine seed, it couldn't even enter the core region, which was quite tragic. As for the golden dragon's martial soul spirit, it was a little weaker than the vast sea cosmic cover. It swam around freely in the water and allowed the clear breath and divine seed to shine white light on its body. It didn't have any intention of resisting at all. It couldn't be helped. In this big shot sea of consciousness, the golden dragon was the weakest. Since it couldn't resist, it could only happily accept it. The clear breath and divine power enveloped the strange energy and entered the sea of consciousness. The clear breath and divine seed immediately released streaks of white light and enveloped the energy again. The energy condensed and slowly condensed into a white ball. Then, it floated not far from the golden dragon. The golden dragon's martial soul first glanced at the white ball of energy and felt the pressure coming from it. Then, it revealed a human-like disdainful smile. It flapped its huge dragon wings and sent the white ball flying. After being bullied for so long, there was finally something for it to bully. This was the golden dragon's territory. How could this white ball stay in a place like this? It was better for it to obediently stay at the edge. The dragon wings sent the white ball flying. The golden dragon flipped a few times in the water happily and then started to swim again. All of this was seen by Lu Yuan, who had just entered the sea of consciousness. He didn't expect the golden dragon's martial soul spirit to be so playful. Lu Yuan couldn't help but laugh. However, he was happy. This meant that the golden dragon's martial soul spirit was very intelligent. Martial souls all had spirituality. However, there were very few people who could form a martial soul spirit like Lu Yuan. When one reached a high level, especially after becoming a transcendent Douluo, one had to communicate with one's martial soul intimately and find the spirituality hidden in one's martial soul if one wanted to improve. The golden dragon's martial soul spirit's actions meant that Lu Yuan would be much more powerful than ordinary people at this step. Looking at the white ball that was gradually pushed to the edge, Lu Yuan thought. Now, the strange energy enveloped by the clear breath and divine power, which was the external soulbone, was basically preserved. The clear breath and divine power indeed contained the power of rules. It could even do this. It was really powerful. When I return to Martial Spirit City, I can give this external soulbone that's similar to the 8 spider spear to Teacher. After so many years, I haven't given Teacher anything. I'm really ashamed. Teacher already has the 6-winged purple light wings. If he obtains this external soulbone produced by the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider, he will definitely mutate and evolve. It's much more useful to Teacher than to me, Lu Yuan said softly. Chapter 407. Bibidon already had the 6-winged purple light wings, the external soulbone that had fallen from the purple-winged spider emperor. If she added this external soulbone that was similar to the 8 spider spear, her external soulbone would definitely mutate. Moreover, Bibidon's 2 martial spirits, the Death Spider Emperor and the Soul-Devouring Spider Emperor, were both martial spirits of the spider type. This external soulbone from the 10,000-year man-faced demon spider was the most suitable for her. After all, Zhu Zhuqing, Hulena, and Chihiro Snow by Lu Yuan's side were not poison-type soul masters. This external soulbone was not suitable for them. As for Dugu Bo and Dugu Yang, to be honest, this external soulbone was more precious than a 100,000-year soulbone. Lu Yuan was really reluctant to give it to them. This kind of thing could only be given to his own people. Therefore, after considering all aspects, Bibidon was the best choice. It just so happened that he had not given Bibidon any gifts, so he gave her an external soulbone to make her happy. Moreover, when he thought of Bibidon, Lu Yuan also remembered the fellows. It just so happened that he had set up the Heavenly Star Academy. He was also a lazy person, so he brought the fellows here. Not only could they be together day and night, it would be convenient to take care of him. Moreover, the principal of the Heavenly Star Academy could also be handed over to him. Lu Yuan was a person who was not interested in such tedious matters. If it was not for Chihiro Snow, for the martial soul palace, and for his own future plans, Lu Yuan was simply too lazy to intervene in these matters between powers. The only thing he liked was to cultivate, and then spend a long and happy life with the person he loved. The Heavenly Star Academy was bought by Lu Yuan himself. Naturally, the principal's position could only be given to his own people. As his father, the Fellows was the best choice. Moreover, the Fellows also liked these days of managing students. This point was already deeply ingrained in his bones. If he really had nothing to do, he might not be used to it. Another important point was that Lu Yuan had made a lot of enemies, and it was very dangerous for the Fellows to be out there. Maybe someone who couldn't take revenge on him would take revenge on the Fellows to vent their anger. With the strength of a soul ancestor like the Fellows, who could he resist? When he went back 2 years ago, the Fellows had been level 45. He was probably around level 45 now. With Fellows' innate rank 3 soul power, it would be very difficult for him to break through to the Soul King rank in his lifetime. In any case, Lu Yuan still had quite a few immortal herbs on hand, so he could give one to the Fellows. Then, together with the Spirit Ascension Pill, he could forcefully raise his strength to the Soul King level. With an increase in strength, the Fellows could live for a few more years. As for the consumption of some immortal herbs and medicinal pills, Lu Yuan didn't care at all. Compared to the people he cared about, these were just worldly possessions. It might not be possible for a soul ancestor to be the dean, but a Soul King was more or less enough to hold the position. When the time came, he would bring Chihiro Snow, Zhu Zhuqing, and the others to see the Fellows and let him see his daughter-in-law. As for why he didn't bring Hulena, it was because he had already seen Hulena. Then, he would use his connections to see if he could find a partner for the Fellows. It wasn't good to be single all the time. The Fellows wasn't in a hurry, but as his son, he had to take the initiative. After I go back and settle down the Dragon King Palace, I'll send someone to bring the old man over. It's not good to stay in a small place like Notting City all day. This Heaven Do Imperial City is the place that the old man should be. I'll let him see his current achievements and let him be proud. Lu Yuan smiled and made up his mind. It had been a long time since he last saw the old man, and he really missed him. Looking at the scene in his sea of consciousness, Lu Yuan's gaze swept across and finally stopped at the god-slaying spear that was stabbed into the mountain peak. Under the golden dragon spear's devouring, the man-faced demon spider's body began to rapidly shrivel. The black armor had turned grayish-white, and the energy contained within had been completely absorbed by Lu Yuan. Other than absorbing a portion of the energy to break through to the next level, the remaining energy was channeled into the 3 external soul bones to help them evolve. After all, if he used all of it to break through, Lu Yuan's level would increase by another level. This energy was not like the immortal herbs. After leveling up, it could still strengthen one's foundation and nurture one's soul power. However, if he improved too much from absorbing the energy, it would cause his soul power to become unstable. Lu Yuan's level was already increasing very quickly. What he was most concerned about now was the stability and solidification of his soul power. Increasing his soul power wasn't the most important thing. Pulling out the golden dragon spear, Lu Yuan looked at the golden dragon spear that was still shining brightly. There wasn't a single trace of filth on it, and a trace of satisfaction appeared on his face. The man-faced demon spider's energy was highly toxic. Ordinary people wouldn't dare to absorb its energy, even if they had the devour skill. This was because they would be poisoned. However, the golden dragon spear didn't have this restriction. It would automatically remove the harmful substances, leaving only the purest energy. This was why Lu Yuan could absorb it without worry. After all, although his golden dragon armor could make him immune to negative effects, he himself wasn't immune to poison. If the poison entered his body, he would still be poisoned. At most, his constitution was strong, and his resistance to poison was stronger. Just as Lu Yuan was sizing up the golden dragon spear, Hulena's concerned voice sounded. "Junior brother, how are you?" She and Zhu Zhuqing had arrived a long time ago. However, Lu Yuan had been absorbing the man-faced demon spider's energy this entire time, so Hulena and the others didn't want to disturb him. Now that Lu Yuan had finished, Helena immediately spoke up. I'm fine, senior sister. I'm fine. Lu Yuan turned around with a faint smile on his face. Lu Yuan, your golden dragon spear is a little terrifying. Zhu Zhuqing's slightly cold voice sounded. This was the first time that she had seen Lu Yuan unleash the golden dragon spear's devour ability to its fullest extent. Under the golden dragon spear's devouring power, the massive man-faced demon spider, which was over 3 meters tall, completely shriveled up in just a few minutes. Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but feel a little fearful. If the golden dragon spear were to pierce into a human body and devour it in this manner, then the consequences would be unimaginable. Lu Yuan seemed to have understood Zhu Zhuqing's concern, and a faint smile appeared on his face as he said in a gentle voice, "Don't worry, Zhuqing. I won't use the golden dragon spear's devour ability recklessly." Zhu Zhuqing appeared cold and aloof on the outside, but she was actually very kind in her heart. Lu Yuan was aware of this fact. Furthermore, with Lu Yuan's personality, he wouldn't use this ability as he pleased. Absorbing another person's energy and life force was a cultivation method used by evil soul masters. If Lu Yuan were to do the same, then what difference would there be between him and an evil soul master? After all, he hated evil soul masters the most. If it weren't for the fact that today was a special occasion, and that his opponent was a ferocious and evil soul beast like the man-faced demon spider, Lu Yuan definitely wouldn't have used this ability. Now that he had witnessed the golden dragon spear's devour ability, Lu Yuan gave himself another warning. Unless he was faced with an absolute crisis, he would keep this ability of the golden dragon spear on the shelf. He wasn't being a saint, this was the bottom line that a person should have. Chapter 408. Yes. Zhu Zhuqing nodded after hearing Lu Yuan's words. She was well aware of Lu Yuan's personality, and she knew that he wouldn't do something like that. She was only worried earlier because she had been frightened by the golden dragon spear's power. Now that she had regained her senses, she naturally understood everything and put away the trace of worry in her heart. Junior brother, have you made any progress after absorbing the man-faced demon spider's energy? Helena couldn't help but ask curiously. Helena was also aware of the golden dragon spear's effects, and Lu Yuan had never hidden anything from them. She and Zhu Zhuqing were both aware of the golden dragon spear's devouring ability, but they had never seen it before. After witnessing the golden dragon spear's terrifying devouring ability today, it was impossible for Helena not to be astonished. However, Helena was different from Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing was afraid that Lu Yuan would use such a terrifying ability on other human soul masters, and she was worried that he would go astray. Helena was elated after her astonishment. She was more concerned about how much progress Lu Yuan had made, and she didn't have time to think about anyone else. Both of them were expressions of love for Lu Yuan. It was just that Zhu Zhuqing's love was more rational, while Helena's love was more blind. She only had eyes for Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan smiled in response to Helena's question and said, "I've made some progress. My soul power has broken through the rank 47 bottleneck, and I've reached rank 48. I've channeled the remaining energy into the 3 external soul bones to help them evolve." Oh. Helena nodded her little head when she heard this, and an expression of understanding appeared on her face. Lu Yuan smiled when he saw how adorable Helena was, and he gently stroked Helena's short blonde hair. 3 external soul bones. The chrysanthemum Douluo's lips twitched slightly upon hearing Lu Yuan's nonchalant claim that he had 3 external soul bones. Since when were external soul bones so easy to come by? How did Lu Yuan manage to obtain 3 of them? He had always known that Lu Yuan had a piece of golden dragon armor, and he had personally accompanied Lu Yuan to the Red Thorn Forest to obtain it. Back then, he had even exclaimed that Lu Yuan was very lucky to have obtained such a rare external soul bone. However, Lu Yuan had just revealed that he had 3 external soul bones in such a nonchalant manner, and Douluo was rather perplexed. Were external soul bones as common as cabbages? This brat's luck was too good. Lu Yuan could naturally tell what the chrysanthemum Douluo was thinking. Only his women knew that he had 3 external soul bones, and not even Bibidon had told them about it. Hence, It was very normal that the chrysanthemum Douluo didn't know about it. However, he didn't mind the chrysanthemum Douluo knowing about it. The chrysanthemum Douluo was one of Bibidon's men, and if he knew about it, it meant that Bibidon knew about it as well. To Lu Yuan, this wasn't a big problem. After all, Bibidon was one of his own. Furthermore, so what if the news of him possessing 3 external soul bones were to spread out? What could those soul masters do apart from being envious? Not to mention the fact that external soul bones couldn't be removed once they had completely fused with one another, no one else would be able to obtain them. Even if they took a step back, with the power that Lu Yuan had now, who would dare to cause trouble for him? Who would dare to do so? Hence, Lu Yuan wasn't worried about this at all. Let's go, senior sister. Shall we continue to look for soul rings that are suitable for you? Lu Yuan patted Helena's head and chuckled softly. All right. Helena moved closer to Lu Yuan and hugged his arm. There was a hint of coquettishness in her voice as she said, Junior brother, if you find a suitable soul beast for me, you have to help me. Of course, you're my dearest senior sister. Lu Yuan gently pinched Helena's nose and laughed. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but roll her eyes. She remembered that this fellow had also said that she was his most beloved kitten. In the end, she had become his dearest senior sister again. Men. A sharp dagger pierced through the snow-white fur and directly through the white soul beast's throat. Helena's face was filled with joy. She didn't think that she would be able to find a soul beast that was suitable for her. Senior sister, it seems like you're fated with the dream demon fox. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. He had once killed a 49,999-year-old dream demon fox in the ruins when it was unprepared and gifted its skull to Helena. Helena's spiritual power had increased greatly after absorbing it. Although she was only at rank 49, her spiritual power was comparable to that of a high-level soul emperor. She was definitely very powerful. If she broke through to the Soul King realm, her spiritual power could very well reach the level of a soul sage. After all, Helena was a spiritual-type soul master and specialized in spiritual power. And now, she had encountered a 23,000-year-old dream demon fox in the setting sun forest. It had to be said that this was really fate. The dream demon fox specialized in spiritual power and illusions. It was a perfect match for Helena. After absorbing this dream demon fox's soul ring, Helena's 5th soul skill should be quite good. It's all thanks to you, junior brother. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to take it down. Helena's charming face was brimming with a smile. If it weren't for Lu Yuan's light of primal chaos, she wouldn't have been able to deal with this dream demon fox. This dream demon fox had directly attacked upon encountering it, unlike the one in the life ruins that had used illusions to confuse Lu Yuan. Instead, Lu Yuan had taken advantage of the opening and killed it. If it was true strength, even if 5 Lu Yuans were to join forces, they wouldn't have been able to kill that 49,999-year-old dream demon fox. It could only be said that the dream demon fox was a little pitiful. It could have used force, but it had used illusions. Coincidentally, it had encountered Lu Yuan, who had the clear chi scripture and wasn't affected by illusions at all. It could only admit that it was unlucky. As for the dream demonic fox in front of him, Lu Yuan had used his true strength to defeat it. The dream demon fox's strongest point was its spiritual power. But when it encountered Lu Yuan, whose spiritual power was above it, there was only one result, and that was a crushing defeat. A single light of primal chaos had directly taught it a lesson. All right, there's no need for this between us. Hurry up and absorb it. After absorbing it, we'll go back. Lu Yuan said softly. Helena nodded. She arrived in front of the dream demon fox's body and sat down cross-legged. In an instant, her martial soul possessed her body, and her pair of ears turned into sharp fox ears. They were furry and looked very cute. At the same time, Helena's tails continuously stretched out from behind her. 9 long furry white fox tails gently swayed behind Helena. Helena's jade-like hand beckoned slightly, and the black soul ring immediately flew directly above Helena's head. Immediately, the soul ring's energy began to fluctuate and poured into Helena's body. Chapter 409. Helena sat cross-legged on the ground. Her 4 soul rings were yellow, yellow, and purple. The black soul ring above her head was exuding vigorous energy. Occasionally, it would release strong spiritual undulations. The illusory demon fox was a spiritual-type soul beast, and its spiritual power was very strong. However, with Helena's current spiritual power and physique, absorbing the illusory demon fox's soul ring wasn't a problem. Helena closed her eyes and started to meditate to absorb the soul ring. Lu Yuan scanned Helena's body with his double pupils, and felt a lot more relax. It was the most difficult at the beginning, because the soul ring's power would surge into her body, and she would be a little flustered. As long as she stabilized at the beginning, it wouldn't be difficult for her to absorb the soul ring afterwards. Helena's situation wasn't bad. The illusory demon fox's power didn't make her flustered at all. On the contrary, her absorption of the soul ring was rather stable, and she was slowly getting on the right track. Seeing how smoothly Helena was absorbing the soul ring, Lu Yuan was naturally relieved. Long Xiaoyaro and the Ju Douluo were already on guard duty. Once the titled Douluo released their auras, the soul beasts in the surrounding forest were all chased away. It was still the same thing, the absorption of the soul ring couldn't be disturbed at all. With 2 titled Douluo protecting her, Helena's absorption of the soul ring was naturally very safe. Lu Yuan looked at Zhu Zhuqing, who was leaning against a tree with a cold expression on her face. He couldn't help but walk forward. "What's wrong? Why are you pulling a long face again?" Lu Yuan came to Zhu Zhuqing's side and asked softly. Zhu Zhuqing lifted her head to look at Lu Yuan. Her eyes were calm, but she didn't answer. "You're really a little vinegar jar." Lu Yuan sighed softly and reached out his hands to pull Zhu Zhuqing into his embrace. He whispered into her ear. "Senior sister is leaving in 2 days. Why are you jealous of her?" Lu Yuan looked a little helpless. Zhu Zhuqing was very reasonable, but she loved to get jealous. She must have seen him coaxing Helena earlier, and she felt a little jealous. "Sigh, what should I do if my girlfriend is jealous? Waiting online, it's quite urgent. Sometimes, having too many girlfriends was a troublesome thing." "Is that so? Isn't she your dearest senior sister?" Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Lu Yuan and said. "Heh, so you're fussing over this." Lu Yuan was a little speechless. He thought that Zhu Zhuqing was angry because Helena dominated him and pushed Zhu Zhuqing to the side, but he didn't expect it to be because of this. "She is indeed my favorite senior sister, but you are also my favorite kitten. There is no conflict," Lu Yuan said with a smile. "Stinky man, you only know how to say nice things to deceive people. None of your words are true." Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Lu Yuan and said. "Hee hee." Lu Yuan chuckled and tightly hugged Zhu Zhuqing in his arms. His expression became solemn as he said, "But I love you. This is true. I can swear on my martial spirit. I know this. You're not allowed to swear." Zhu Zhuqing reached out her jade-like hand and covered Lu Yuan's mouth. Looking at Lu Yuan's handsome face, she sighed softly and lay quietly in Lu Yuan's arms. Her cold voice sounded, "Anyway, I've given my life to you. As long as you don't let me down, I don't care about anything else. Just like what I said at the Life Ruins, I don't care how many women you will have in the future, but you must never abandon me. Otherwise, I will die in front of you." Zhu Zhuqing's voice carried a trace of determination. "Don't worry, I also promised you that there will never be such a day. You will be my woman for the rest of your life." Listening to Zhu Zhuqing's coldness, Lu Yuan's expression became serious and his voice carried an unprecedented seriousness. These were the most sincere words from the bottom of his heart. Helena's soul ring absorption was faster than Zhu Zhuqing's, but when she was about to finish, it was already close to dusk. Zhu Zhuqing calmly leaned on Lu Yuan's shoulder. Although she liked to be jealous, she was the most open-minded and magnanimous. Otherwise, she wouldn't have persuaded Lu Yuan to accept Ning Rongrong. Or from another perspective, rather than saying that she liked to be jealous, it was better to say that she wanted to use this method to make Lu Yuan coax her more. Zhu Zhuqing was thin-skinned and rarely took the initiative to speak her thoughts. She could only use this method to attract Lu Yuan's attention. It had to be said that Zhu Zhuqing's move was surprisingly effective on Lu Yuan, who was extremely good at reading people's expressions. This could be regarded as a little trick of Zhu Zhuqing. Of course, this trick didn't have any bad intentions. She just wanted to be pampered a little more. After all, Helena could take the initiative to boldly express her feelings to Lu Yuan, and she wasn't as passionate as Helena. Her personality was more cold, so she could only use this method. As for whether Lu Yuan was aware of it, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't say. This man was sometimes too smart. It was normal for him to be discovered. But with this man's IQ, even if he discovered it, he might pretend that he didn't. After all, this was good for both parties' feelings. Lu Yuan wasn't a fool. This man was very smart. Lu Yuan's gaze moved forward. Naturally, he didn't know what Zhu Zhuqing was thinking. He wasn't an immortal and didn't know how to read minds. He could know what others were thinking out of thin air. He made his own guesses based on their expressions, eyes, and body movements. He didn't even look at Zhu Zhuqing right now. How could he know what she was thinking? Lu Yuan watched Helena closely. Right now, she was at the final stage. The energy in her body was stabilizing. Her breathing was long, and her aura had risen to a new level. It's about time. Lu Yuan couldn't help but sigh. Looking at the situation now, Helena had finished absorbing. Indeed, Helena suddenly opened her eyes the moment Lu Yuan finished speaking. Her pink eyes flickered with a strange light, and a wave of spiritual undulations was released from her body. This spiritual power was a little strange, because it was mixed with a faint charm. Not bad. Your spiritual power has reached the level of a soul sage. Lu Yuan couldn't help but nod as he sensed the strength of this spiritual power. Indeed, Helena's spiritual power had reached the level of a soul sage after absorbing her fifth soul ring. Hey! Just as Lu Yuan was sighing in admiration, Zhu Zhuqing suddenly let out a soft hum. Lu Yuan couldn't help but turn his head to look. He saw that Zhu Zhuqing was a little dazed, and her eyes were a little blurry. Has she been tricked? Lu Yuan couldn't help but shake his head and laugh. Helena's spiritual power was suddenly released. Zhu Zhuqing wasn't prepared, and was tricked. However, it wasn't strange. Zhu Zhuqing was one rank lower than Helena. Furthermore, Helena's spiritual power had reached the level of a soul sage. It was very high. Zhu Zhuqing wasn't prepared, so it was reasonable that she was tricked. Chapter 410. He patted Zhu Zhuqing's head, and Zhu Zhuqing instantly woke up. Looking at Lu Yuan beside her, Zhu Zhuqing's face was covered with a layer of blush. What did you see in the illusion just now? Lu Yuan's lips curled into a mischievous smile as he asked. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful face, which was already slightly red, became even redder. Her jade-like hands directly climbed onto Lu Yuan's waist, then grabbed a handful of soft flesh, and fiercely twisted it. Hiss! Lu Yuan immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. This Zhu Zhuqing's actions were really ruthless. Seeing Lu Yuan's appearance, Zhu Zhuqing snorted. This stinky fellow, he clearly knows that I'm thin-skinned, but he still insists on saying it. Then, don't blame me for using my trump card. Lu Yuan grabbed Zhu Zhuqing's jade-like hands, and his expression was a little helpless. He was only teasing her, but in the end, this girl was serious, and this pinch was really painful. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing's arrogant look, Lu Yuan sighed. This little wild kitten was really hard to deal with when she started behaving like a wild kitten. Letting go of Zhu Zhuqing's jade-like hands that were pinching the soft flesh on his waist, Lu Yuan's gaze turned to Helena, who was in front of him. At this moment, Helena had already stood up. Under the state of martial soul possession, Helena had a very unique charm. She was charming and full of holiness, giving people a kind of temptation. Especially the 9 tails floating behind her. Not only did they not appear complicated because of the many tails, but they also increased Helena's charm by a few points. Coupled with the fluffy white fox ears and that beautiful face, the current Helena was really very charming. Even Lu Yuan, who understood Helena very well, couldn't help but be a little stunned. How is it, junior brother? Am I beautiful? Seeing Lu Yuan staring straight at her, Helena's heart was slightly happy. Her red lips moved slightly, and her voice had a different kind of charm. Of course, senior sister is beautiful. Lu Yuan's eyes blinked as he came back to his senses from Helena's appearance. His resistance to beauty was already very strong. The reason why he was absent-minded just now was because Helena's beauty at this moment was somewhat beyond Lu Yuan's previous understanding. That was why he was slightly stunned. Now that he had regained his senses, he naturally wouldn't be like that anymore. Then, junior brother, do you like it? Helena's pink eyes blinked, and a seductive spiritual wave surged towards Lu Yuan. Of course I do. Lu Yuan nodded affirmatively. Then, his tone changed. But senior sister, you're getting bolder and bolder. You actually dared to use your charm on me. Looks like I'll have to teach you a lesson tonight. Hearing this, Helena blushed, but with a trace of anticipation, she said, really? Then I'll have to properly experience it. As he spoke, he threw a coquettish glance at Lu Yuan. Cough cough. Seeing Lu Yuan and Helena flirting with each other as if there was no one else around, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but cough a few times. Did these two fellows not see her as a human? How dare they be so brazen? When Zhu Zhuqing coughed, the atmosphere between Lu Yuan and Helena immediately disappeared. Senior sister, your soul power has improved quite a bit, right? You should be at rank 56 now, right? Lu Yuan suddenly changed the topic and asked. Yes, junior brother. Speaking of her rank, Helena's pretty face revealed a look of great joy. It was really as junior brother had said. After absorbing the Dream Demon Fox's soul ring, her soul power directly broke through to rank 56. Furthermore, her soul power was solid and not superficial. Does it feel good to be a soul king? Lu Yuan asked as he looked at the yellow, purple, and black soul rings below Helena's body. Yes, I feel a lot stronger. My spiritual power has also reached a new level, Helena said with a smile. That's natural. Soul kings and soul ancestors naturally can't be compared. Now that your spiritual power has entered the realm of a soul sage, you've naturally stepped into a new level, Lu Yuan said with a smile. But it's still useless against you, Helena said with a little regret. Her charm skill seemed to have no effect on this stinky junior brother from the beginning. This really made her a little depressed. She really wanted to see what would happen when her junior brother was charmed by her. Looking at Helena's appearance, Lu Yuan knew what she was thinking. He took a few steps forward and stretched out his finger to flick her forehead. He said in a bad mood, "You're not thinking about something serious, but thinking about something trivial. You just want to see me make a fool of myself, right?" Hearing this, Helena stuck out her tongue and revealed a playful smile. You. Helplessly patting Helena's little head, Lu Yuan said gently, "Now that you've obtained your soul ring, it's time for us to go back." Yes. Hearing this, Helena nodded lightly. 3 days later. Icefire Yin Yang Well. Junior brother, I'm not going back. Helena tightly hugged Lu Yuan's arm and shook her little head like a rattledrum. Okay, senior sister, be good and listen to me, okay? Lu Yuan gently pinched Helena's smooth face with his left hand and said softly, I still have important matters to attend to here. My identity has to be kept a secret. It's really inconvenient for you to follow me around. But I really don't want to go back. I want to stay and accompany you, Helena said sweetly, her tone filled with deep affection. Okay, senior sister, the big picture is more important. It's not like we won't see each other again. Once the matters here are settled, I'll definitely accompany you for a period of time. It's a critical period here, and I'm so busy every day. Even Zhuqing is staying in the academy. If you stay, it'll be easy for your identity to be exposed. Secondly, I really don't have extra time to take care of you. I don't need you to take care of me. I can take care of myself. Helena nodded her little head and said, Then where do you want to stay? Here. Douluo Bo often comes here. If you stay, your identity will be exposed. In the academy, there are so many people coming and going. There are so many eyes. You can't possibly stay there. Don't tell me you want to stay in a hotel? Lu Yuan asked. Sure, I don't care where I stay. As long as junior brother can accompany me, Helena said softly. Junior brother, just let me stay, okay? Helena shook her arms. Her big eyes were watery and lovely. Lu Yuan couldn't help but feel a trace of pity in his heart. Forget it. Looking at Helena's eyes, Lu Yuan couldn't help but feel his heart soften. Facing his own woman, he couldn't bear to reject her. Senior sister, do you really want to stay? Lu Yuan asked softly. Yes. Helena nodded, her tone was very firm. Okay, since you've made up your mind, then come with me to see Cher tomorrow, Lu Yuan said. Ah! Helena couldn't help but raise her voice. Chapter 4:11. Junior brother, what did you say? Hearing Lu Yuan's voice, Helena's voice sounded with some surprise. Why, are you scared? Lu Yuan's face showed a strange smile. Senior sister, you didn't seem to be afraid at all when you were trying to steal me. Indeed, if Helena hadn't taken the initiative to pursue him and even forced a kiss on him, he wouldn't have been able to get together with Helena so easily. Even if he wanted to start a harem, it was still locked by a lock, and Helena was the key to opening this lock. After all, if there was only one, then generally, he wouldn't have the mind to think about a second one. But if there really was a second one, then a third one wouldn't be far away. Sometimes, once this kind of thing was triggered, it was difficult for people to control themselves. If it weren't for Chihiro Snow, Helena, and Zhu Zhuqing who strictly limited Lu Yuan to 3 people at the same time, Lu Yuan would definitely have more than 4 girlfriends now. Men, it's easy to be loyal, but once they're unfaithful, it's not so easy to restrain. Lu Yuan had a deep understanding of this point. Who said I'm scared? Helena immediately retorted, I just don't know what to say to her when we meet. Junior brother, I'd better not go see her. I have nothing to say to her. Helena lowered her voice and said. Hearing this, Lu Yuan looked at Helena with a smile. So after saying so much, you're still not scared in your heart. If you want to stay, come with me to see Cher tomorrow, or I'll send you back immediately, Lu Yuan said. Junior brother. Helena hugged Lu Yuan's arm and shook it gently, blinking her big innocent eyes with a pitiful look. There are only 2 choices, no discussion. Lu Yuan's tone had a trace of firmness. All right then, let's go. I'm not afraid. Hearing this, Helena drooped her little head, and her tone carried a hint of desperation. In fact, in Helena's heart, she was really afraid to see Chihiro Snow. Because Lu Yuan and Chihiro Snow were in front of her, she was the third party who forcibly snatched Lu Yuan away. She was different from Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing and Lu Yuan were together because of many coincidences. Anyway, Zhu Zhuqing did not deliberately want to steal Lu Yuan, but because of various factors, they naturally came together. Chihiro Snow might not care about Zhu Zhuqing, but for Helena, Chihiro Snow definitely felt uncomfortable in his heart. Helena was also the same. When she heard that she had to see Chihiro Snow, her heart was also a little scared. Looking at Helena's expression, Lu Yuan couldn't help but gently stroke her short blonde hair. His voice was gentle as he said, It's time for you and Shui to officially meet tomorrow. Both of you will have to face this day sooner or later. The dispute between the both of you will have to be resolved sooner rather than later. Cher might have some resentment towards you, so for my sake, senior sister, can you take a step back for some things? Lu Yuan said softly. H. Sure enough, the most important person in your heart is still Chihiro Snow. Helena snorted and said, I can take a step back, but you have to take more time to accompany me. Okay, I promise you. Lu Yuan smiled and took Helena into his arms. Crown Prince Palace. In the study room, Chihiro Snow glanced at the 2 women beside Lu Yuan. He held a cup of tea in his hand and looked at Lu Yuan indifferently. What do you want to do today? Chihiro Snow's expression was indifferent, but there was a trace of uneasiness in his eyes. She was fine with Zhu Zhuqing. She had already seen her and recognized her. However, when she saw Helena beside Lu Yuan, her mood was still fluctuating. Just like now, although she was looking at Lu Yuan, She could not help but look at Helena from the corner of her eyes, with a hint of scrutiny. "It's nothing. I just want you two to meet and have a heart-to-heart talk." Lu Yuan laughed. "What do we have to talk about?" Chihiro Snow took a sip of tea and asked softly. "Ari, Cher, you can't say that. There are a lot of things to talk about. For example, you can talk about my handsomeness. You can definitely talk until tomorrow morning," Lu Yuan said shamelessly. "Bah, narcissist." Chihiro Snow scolded in a low voice. Lu Yuan's thick skin once again refreshed her understanding. Zhu Zhuqing, who was at the side, could not help but roll her eyes. No one could be as narcissistic as him. Even Helena, who had been obsessed with Lu Yuan, could not help but twitch her mouth slightly. Although junior brother was indeed very handsome, it seemed a little inappropriate to say it like that. Lu Yuan did not care about the performance of the three women. He was very thick-skinned. "When did you let Helena come over?" Chihiro Snow stared at Lu Yuan. This guy's actions were very secretive. She actually did not receive any news at all. 4 days ago. I let senior sister come over because I wanted to give her an immortal herb. After all, I did not have time to go back, so I could only let senior sister come over. A few days ago, I was helping senior sister and Zhuqing to obtain soul rings. Coupled with the delay of a few days of refining pills, I immediately came to find you after I finish. Lu Yuan said. "At least you have some conscience." Chihiro Snow's tone was much calmer, and her expression was much better. Lu Yuan might love Helena very much, but Chihiro Snow did not mind because Lu Yuan loved her more. She was well aware of this. She was worried that Lu Yuan would hide it from her because that meant that Lu Yuan did not trust her. Although she might have some opinions about Helena in her heart because of some things, it did not mean that she could not tolerate Helena. Otherwise, when Lu Yuan confessed to her, she would not have accepted it. She just had a thorn in her heart that had not been pulled out. However, now that Helena was here, it was good. Some things indeed needed to be cleared up, and some things needed to be untied. Her gaze shifted and landed on Helena. Her eyes were filled with a strong sense of scrutiny. Helena also raised her head and met Chihiro Snow's eyes. If Helena was still a little nervous before she came, she was no longer afraid. The two of them looked at each other, and the atmosphere suddenly became tense. Zhu Zhuqing, who was at the side, could not help but shrink back. This kind of atmosphere was a little scary. Cher. Feeling the change in the atmosphere, Lu Yuan could not help but speak softly. "You go out first. I have something to say to Helena and the others." Chihiro Snow's indifferent voice sounded. "Cher. I." Hearing Chihiro Snow's words, Lu Yuan was stunned at first. Just as he was about to speak, he was interrupted by Chihiro Snow. "You go out first. We have some women's matters to discuss. It's not appropriate for you to be here." Chihiro Snow's voice was flat. Chapter 412. All right then. Seeing how serious Chihiro Snow was, Lu Yuan heaved a sigh and stood up. "Have a good talk then. I'll take my leave first." Lu Yuan said softly and walked out of the door. Creak. The door to the study was closed. Chihiro Snow watched as Lu Yuan's figure disappeared. She looked at the two of them calmly and said, "I think it's time for us to have a good talk." Outside the study, the frenzy rhino Douluo, snake spear Douluo, thorny pufferfish Douluo and long xiaoyaro were all there. When they saw Lu Yuan, they couldn't help but turn to look at him. "Young Master Yuan, you came out alone?" the frenzy rhino Douluo asked. "Yes." Lu Yuan nodded gently and said, "Cher and the rest have something to say. It's not convenient for me to be present." When they heard this, the few titled Douluo looked at one another. With their experience, they naturally knew what was going on inside. Their eyes flashed a little. Lu Yuan didn't care what they were thinking. His gaze was focused as he looked into the distance. Lu Yuan wasn't very worried about whether Chihiro Snow and the rest would cause a ruckus. Chihiro Snow was a smart woman. She wouldn't push the situation to the point of no return. This was because she knew Lu Yuan's character. He definitely wouldn't want something like that to happen. Therefore, she would only warn Lena and Zhu Zhuqing to strengthen her position. At the same time, she would demonstrate her authority as the wife. Lu Yuan could guess all of this. The only thing he was worried about was that Chihiro Snow might be a little hostile towards Lena because of him and Bibidon. While Lena looked weak on the surface, she was also very strong-willed. There would definitely be some unhappiness between the two of them. If it was only Chihiro Snow and Lena, Lu Yuan would be worried. Fortunately, there was still Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing was the most sensible. With her around, the situation would be much better. After thinking about it, Lu Yuan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. He really owed the three of them too much. He had to treat them better in the future. Lu Yuan reached out and touched the silver reverse scale on his chest. Feeling the cold sensation, a bitter smile appeared on his face. This was the most difficult thing to deal with. He really didn't know how to explain it to Chihiro Snow and the others. Furthermore, with Jiu Yuana's gentle appearance, would she allow Lu Yuan to have other women? This was also a problem. It's difficult. Lu Yuan sighed. The road ahead was really long and arduous. However, Lu Yuan quickly pushed this matter to the side and began to think about the Dragon King Palace. Douluo's actions over the past few days had been somewhat effective. Currently, 3 small and medium-sized clans had come to join them. Although the most powerful person in these clans was only a Soul Emperor, it was still a good start. At the very least, there were at least 100 soul cultivators in these clans when added together. Apart from a few titled soul masters, he was just a bald commander. Having something was better than nothing. Naturally, Lu Yuan didn't need to personally receive soul emperors. Douluo was enough. After all, Douluo was a titled Douluo. His status was enough. If Lu Yuan wanted to personally receive them, they had to be from a large clan. Other things aside, they had to be at least Soul Douluo. Soul sages weren't worth the trouble. Leaning against the door frame, Lu Yuan's eyes deepened. In the blink of an eye, an hour had passed. Lu Yuan didn't eavesdrop on what Chihiro Snow and the others were talking about. He still trusted them. Lu Yuan, come in. Chihiro Snow's crisp voice rang out. Are you done? Lu Yuan turned around and gently pushed the door open. He walked in. Lu Yuan sat down opposite Chihiro Snow and scanned the room. Chihiro Snow's expression was very calm. It was as if nothing had happened. Lu Yuan looked carefully, but he couldn't see anything. He then looked at Lena, who was beside him. Lena's expression was the same as usual. Instead, she seemed to be even more relaxed. There was no trace of nervousness like before. He then looked at Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Lu Yuan. Her eyes were cold, just like before. Lu Yuan was a little stunned. How did the three of them talk for so long? None of them spoke. They all had calm expressions. He couldn't tell what they were thinking. However, the atmosphere wasn't tense. It seemed that the talk didn't break down. Lu Yuan wasn't too worried. How did the talk go? Since the three women didn't speak, Lu Yuan could only speak himself. Looking at Lu Yuan's cautious expression, Chihiro Snow's calm expression was finally broken. A smile appeared on her face. You got lucky, stinky guy. Hearing this, Lena and Zhu Zhuqing's faces were no longer tense. Their beautiful faces were brimming with smiles. Seeing this, Lu Yuan was overjoyed. Seeing this scene, how could he not know that the talk between the three women was going smoothly? The misunderstanding and hostility between them should have been cleared up. Are you done? You and senior sister? Although Lu Yuan was happy in his heart, he couldn't help but try to ask. He was still very concerned about Chihiro Snow's hostility towards Lena. Chihiro Snow glanced at Lu Yuan indifferently. Her red lips lightly opened. I've thought it through. About me, Bibidon, and you, it has nothing to do with Lena. With regards to Bibidon, she was just passive. As for you, it's not her fault. She was just pursuing her own happiness. The one I really want to blame is you stinky scumbag. Yes, these things have nothing to do with senior sister. If you want to blame someone, blame me. I'm sorry. I'm too fickle in love. If you want to hit or scold me, it's up to you. Lu Yuan said. You said it. Chihiro Snow's eyes had a trace of ridicule. Yes, I said it. Lu Yuan nodded and said. That's good. Then you should prepare to die now, Qian Renshue said, suddenly stood up, and a fist blasted over. What? Before Lu Yuan could react, he was punched in the eye by Chihiro Snow. Then Chihiro Snow's figure flashed and grabbed Lu Yuan and beat him up. Hulena and Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan, who was being beaten up. Not only did they not help, but they also showed a trace of gloating smile. Who told you to be fickle in love? A few minutes later, Lu Yuan with a big pig's head looked at the three women with smiles on their faces. He couldn't help but roll his eyes. Now he understood that these three women were working together to teach him a lesson. He still foolishly went into this circle. When did his IQ become so low? Now you've vented your anger. Looking at Chihiro Snow, Lu Yuan asked in a bad mood. It's okay. Chihiro Snow rubbed his wrist and said, your skin is too thick. It hurts my hand. If I knew, I would have added the power of my martial soul. Hearing this, the corner of Lu Yuan's mouth twitched. Chapter 413. Looking at Chihiro Snow's indifferent face, Lu Yuan was a little speechless. How much hatred did he have? He actually wanted to use the power of his martial soul to beat him up. Wasn't he afraid that something would happen? Lu Yuan shook his head helplessly and started to circulate the esoteric character. Instantly, all the wounds on his body disappeared, and the black eye socket that was punched in had also returned to normal. It was just a small injury. With the power of the esoteric character, it was a piece of cake. Chihiro Snow looked at Lu Yuan with a surprised expression. Almost instantly, he had returned to his fairy-like appearance. She felt a little indignant. This stinky guy had such an ability, but he didn't tell her about it. However, thinking about what she had said to Lu Yuan before, Chihiro Snow became silent again. Although this stinky guy loved her the most, she now had two love rivals in Hulena and Zhu Zhuqing. She couldn't push this stinky guy too hard. This guy was amenable to coaxing, but not coercion. If she pushed him too hard, he wouldn't come to her side, and instead went to look for the two of them, which wouldn't be good. Chihiro Snow thought to herself. Lu Yuan walked to Chihiro Snow's side, pulled her into his embrace, and whispered in her ear, "Are you curious about the technique I used to recover from my injuries?" Why? Being suddenly embraced by Lu Yuan in front of Hulena and Zhu Zhuqing, Chihiro Snow's face was a little red, and she started to struggle slightly. Don't move. Feeling Chihiro Snow's slight struggle, Lu Yuan hugged her even tighter. They're still watching, Chihiro Snow said in a low voice. Being stared at by the two women and being so close to Lu Yuan, she always felt a little shy in her heart, especially when Hulena was still here. She had just untied the knot in her heart with Hulena, and Hulena saw this scene. There must be some strange feelings in her heart. It doesn't matter. You're all sisters anyway. So what if you see it? Maybe you'll see more intimate scenes in the future. Lu Yuan's tone carried a hint of a strange smile. Get lost. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Chihiro Snow felt even more embarrassed. He lifted his right foot and kicked Lu Yuan's foot. This guy really dared to say anything. Didn't he mean that he wanted them to do it together? Mph, that damned lecher. Dream on. Hiss. Being kicked on the foot by Chihiro Snow, Lu Yuan suddenly sucked in a breath of cold air. This time, it was really painful. Okay, Cher, I was wrong. Don't step on it. Lu Yuan quickly begged for mercy. Mph, you still dare to talk nonsense. Chihiro Snow snorted and slightly raised her head, full of arrogance. Sigh. Lu Yuan sighed softly. He really couldn't do anything to Chihiro Snow. He couldn't bear to hit her, so he could only admit defeat. What's more, Chihiro Snow really did compromise too much for him. Tightly hugging Chihiro Snow's delicate body and feeling the delicate fragrance of her body, Lu Yuan's heart was calm. Do you want to know what method I used just now? Lu Yuan smiled slightly. Chihiro Snow and the other two still didn't know how to use the esoteric word so far. He might as well use this opportunity to teach them together. His own women, he couldn't favor one and discriminate against the other. Since he already taught one, then he should teach the others. I said before, I won't ask you about these things anymore. I will wait for you to tell me yourself. Chihiro Snow said softly. She remembered that Lu Yuan said that being with her would be a bit tiring. Because she asked too many questions, she was willing to suppress her curiosity until the day Lu Yuan was willing to tell her. She wanted to prove that her love for Lu Yuan was no less than Hulena and Zhu Zhuqing. Hearing this, Lu Yuan's face softened. He gently stroked Chihiro Snow's golden hair. Then I will tell you now. This method is called the esoteric word. Its ability is. After imparting the esoteric word to the three women and giving them some guidance, Lu Yuan left with Hulena and Zhu Zhuqing. Hulena's accommodation problem had to be solved in the end. After sending Zhu Zhuqing back to the academy, Lu Yuan brought Hulena to a certain place. Hulena hugged Lu Yuan's arm and gently rubbed it. Junior apprentice brother, where are you taking me? I bought a house in Heaven Do Imperial City. Ever since I opened the academy, I haven't lived there for more than a few days. Since you want to stay, I will send you there. Also, there are people who will take care of your daily needs. You can live there. When I have time, I will go back to accompany you. It's just that there aren't many people here, and your identity is sensitive. You can't follow me around like Zhuqing. You will inevitably be lonely if you stay here alone. Lu Yuan's voice carried a trace of pity. It's okay, junior apprentice brother. I just want to see you. I will use the rest of my time to cultivate. Hulena smiled very brightly. Hearing this, Lu Yuan's heart warmed. Hulena was someone who couldn't stay idle. In the past, she loved to go shopping in Martial Spirit City. Now that she was willing to endure loneliness for him, he was very touched. But, junior apprentice brother, just as Lu Yuan was feeling touched, Hulena's voice rang out. What is it, senior apprentice sister? Lu Yuan asked in confusion. Can you stay with me tonight? Hulena said. Her big pink eyes looked at Lu Yuan, full of expectation. Okay. Seeing Hulena's expectant look, Lu Yuan couldn't help but nod his head slightly. Hearing this, Hulena smiled until her eyes narrowed. She hugged Lu Yuan's arm even tighter. Time flowed like water. In the blink of an eye, 3 months slipped away. Lu Yuan was now 13 years old. His soul power had broken through another rank in the past 3 months, and he was now at rank 49. Over these 3 months, the Dragon King Hall's manpower had been greatly expanded. There were now 2,000 soul masters in total. This was enough to support the embryonic form of an organization. Apart from the lack of a soul Douluo, the Dragon King Hall now had 7 soul sages and 20 soul emperors. They were all recruited by Douluo Bo. It could be said that Douluo Bo had contributed greatly to the Dragon King Hall's current scale. To thank Douluo Bo, Lu Yuan gave Douluo Yang 2 more Class 5 soul tools over the past 3 months. It was a way to express his gratitude to Douluo Bo. After all, one had to be rewarded for their contributions. This was something that a leader had to understand. Douluo Bo naturally knew about Lu Yuan's actions. He was even more motivated now. Lu Yuan also went to see these soul sages and soul emperors. Along with the Mad Rhino Douluo and Long Xiaoyaro, there were 3 titled Douluo. These soul sages and soul emperors were completely intimidated. All of them were very obedient. They felt lucky to have joined the Dragon King Hall. At the same time, Lu Yuan also displayed his abilities. He defeated the 5 soul sages one by one. Suddenly, all the soul masters were convinced. Now that 3 months had passed, the 7 Treasures Glazed Sects construction team had completed the construction of the Dragon King Hall. It was finally time for the Dragon King Hall to be officially established. Chapter 4:14. Today, Heaven-Do Imperial City was very lively. This was because a new and powerful organization was going to be established today. This organization had 3 titled Douluo and was working closely with the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. When news of this spread, the entire Heaven-Do Imperial City was in an uproar. The name of this organization was also known to everyone. It was called the Dragon King Hall. It was also from this day onwards that the 3 upper sects became the 4 upper sect. This news quickly spread to the ears of every single top-tier organization on the Douluo continent as if it had grown wings. From this moment onwards, another top-tier organization of Soul Masters was added. The name of the Dragon King Hall resounded throughout the 2 empires. In the martial Soul Palace, Bibidon sat on the Pope's throne. She held a letter in her hand and was reading it carefully. As she read, a smile appeared on her beautiful face. It was as if 100 flowers had bloomed. It was bright and moving. Abuchi is indeed capable. It's only been 3 months, and has already established the Dragon King Hall. Furthermore, it's so powerful that it's directly squeezed into the 4 upper sects. Most importantly, he's tied the 7 Treasures Glazed sect and Dugu Bo to his chariot. His methods are not ordinary. Bibidon placed the letter down and spoke gently. Yes, Your Holiness. Young Master Yuan is indeed very capable. Furthermore, he's even booked the entire Heaven-Do auction house. When the time comes, there will be a huge auction. The main auction will be for pills and soul tools. After this auction, the Dragon King Hall's reputation will rise to another level. The white-robed Ju Douluo said from beside Bibidon. Ever since he obtained the singular velvet sky chrysanthemum from Lu Yuan and reached rank 96, his status in the martial Soul Palace had risen to another level. At the same time, he felt closer to Lu Yuan. Therefore, his tone was full of praise for Lu Yuan. Abuchi is naturally capable. He's much better than Nana. Bibidon sighed as he thought of Hulena, who refused to return to Heaven-Do Imperial City. Hulena was normally quite good, but when she met Lu Yuan, she fell into a vortex of love and couldn't extricate herself. Fortunately, there was still Lu Yuan who could take over her position. Yu Guan, do you think that Abuchi will be conferred the title of Holy Son when he returns? Will anyone object? Bibidon pondered for a while and asked. With young Master Yuan's powers and aptitude, I'm sure no one will object to this arrangement, the Ju Douluo said. Bibidon nodded. Lu Yuan was naturally the most talented person in the martial Soul Palace. He was even more talented than Chihiro Snow. No one in the younger generation of the martial Soul Palace could compare to him. The so-called Golden Generation was nothing more than a joke in front of him. No one could doubt his talent. In terms of support, the Pontiff Palace only followed Bibidon. Since Bibidon had such thoughts, no one dared to object. Furthermore, the Holy Son had the full support of the Sendryu. After all, he had even given away the Angel Badge. In that case, conferring the title of Holy Son to Lu Yuan should be a cinch. By the way, Yu Guan, you said that Nana is already rank 56? Bibidon asked. That's right, Your Holiness. After consuming the immortal herb gifted to her by young Master Yuan, young Mistress Ene's 5th soul ring has been enhanced significantly. Her 5th soul ring has reached 23,000 years of age, which is almost double the limit of 12,000 years, the Ju Douluo said. It seems like Nana has benefited a lot from following Abuchi. She has improved quite a bit. Zhu Zhuqing, on the other hand, has 4 rings at 10,000 years. She's another peerless genius. Guimai, you have a good disciple, Bibidon said. You're too kind, Your Holiness. It's all thanks to young Master Yuan that Zhu Zhuqing is able to achieve so much. As her teacher, I really didn't help much, Gui Douluo, who was dressed in a black robe, said from the other side of Bibidong. Bibidon smiled when he heard this. With the 3 of them, the martial Soul Palace has a bright future. Bibidon blinked and looked into the distance. It was as if she was looking directly at Lu Yuan in Heaven-Do Imperial City. I say, there should be a lot of trivial matters in the Dragon King Palace now. You still have time to come here. Qian Runxue looked straight at Lu Yuan with her beautiful eyes and said with a smile, Elder Dugu and the others will take care of the trivial matters. I just have to explain the general situation. I don't have to interfere in everything. Lu Yuan took a sip of tea and said softly, You're so carefree. You can't be bothered with anything. If you're like this now, who knows what you'll be like when she passes the position of Pope to you? You're not going to leave everything to others like you are now, are you? Chihiro Snow said. I'm actually not interested in being Pope. If you want, share, you can be the female Pope. I'll support you with both hands and feet, Lu Yuan said. You only know how to talk nonsense. Even if the position of Pope falls to Helena, it won't fall to me. I know it very well in my heart, Chihiro Snow said faintly. There was a hint of uneasiness in her voice. Share, actually, teacher, don't mention her. Before Lu Yuan could finish, Chihiro Snow interrupted. I don't want to hear anything related to her. Lu Yuan stood up and walked to Chihiro Snow's side and hugged her from behind. Share, actually, teacher loves you in her heart, Lu Yuan said softly. Loves me? Ever since I was young, I've only seen disgust in her eyes. She hates me. I was raised by my grandfather since I was young. She never cared for me, not even for a day. She doesn't deserve to be my mother. Chihiro Snow became more and more agitated as she spoke. Even her body trembled involuntarily. Share. Lu Yuan sighed softly. He hugged Chihiro Snow tightly in his arms and said, Actually, teacher also has her own difficulties. What difficulties does she have? What kind of difficulties could make her abandon her daughter when she was young? Not only that, every time her daughter tried to get close to her, she would always be met with a gaze filled with disgust and hatred. I will never forget that gaze for the rest of my life. I hate her. I hate that woman. Since she doesn't care about me, why did she give birth to me? Qian Runxue broke free from Lu Yuan's embrace and turned around to stare at Lu Yuan. Her beautiful eyes were brimming with tears and her gaze was filled with deep hatred. Share. Looking at the hatred in Chihiro Snow's eyes, Lu Yuan couldn't help but sigh. He then lowered his body and raised his right hand to wipe away the tears in the corner of Chihiro Snow's eyes. He said softly, I can only tell you that teacher really has her own difficulties. Your heart is in pain, and so is teacher's heart. Don't hate teacher, she is also a pitiful person. Chapter 4:15. Then tell me, what difficulties does she have? Chihiro Snow grabbed Lu Yuan's hand. Her reddish eyes stared straight at Lu Yuan, her eyes full of questions. This, I can't say. Looking at Chihiro Snow's questioning eyes, Lu Yuan sighed and said, This matter is related to teacher's biggest secret. I can't tell anyone, but one day you will know. Teacher loves you in her heart, but there is one thing that has been tormenting her, making her unable to find peace. It is also the reason why the relationship between you and your mother has deteriorated to this point. You and teacher are both victims. The real culprit is someone else. So, Share, can you not hold such a big grudge against teacher? Lu Yuan stroked Chihiro Snow's cheek and said softly. Hearing this, Chihiro Snow was silent. She just looked straight at Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan didn't back down. He looked straight at Chihiro Snow, his eyes full of sincerity and calmness. You can't even tell me about this so-called difficulties? Chihiro Snow suddenly asked. No. Lu Yuan nodded and said. Then Lu Yuan, do you love me? Chihiro Snow looked straight at Lu Yuan and asked. Yes. Lu Yuan answered without hesitation. Then, in your heart, am I more important, or is your teacher more important? You can't escape. I want to hear the truth. Chihiro Snow looked at Lu Yuan with burning eyes. Of course it is you. You are the most important in my heart. To me, no one can compare to you. Lu Yuan answered Chihiro Snow's question without hesitation. Then what about Helena and Zhu Zhuqing? Chihiro Snow asked. They are my life, but you are more important than my life. Lu Yuan said word by word. Hearing this, Chihiro Snow looked straight at Lu Yuan. Her eyes were full of emotions as she looked at Lu Yuan. Share. Lu Yuan called Chihiro Snow's name softly. Stinky guy, in my heart, you are also the most important, Chihiro Snow said and threw herself into Lu Yuan's arms. Lu Yuan wrapped his arms around Chen Renshue and pulled her tightly into his arms. Lu Yuan. Chihiro Snow's voice sounded. What's wrong, Cher? Lu Yuan gently stroked Chihiro Snow's long hair. I want to find a chance to talk to her. Didn't you say that she has her difficulties? I want to talk to her personally and see what she is thinking. Chihiro Snow bit her red lips with her pearly white teeth. There was a trace of confusion in her eyes. She didn't know whether this decision was right or wrong. However, there was still a desire in her heart. She longed for the motherly love that she had never received before. And most importantly, she believed in the man in front of her. Okay, when the time comes, I will create an opportunity for you and your mother to have a heart-to-heart talk. Lu Yuan said. Stinky guy, you must remember what you said. Chihiro Snow said. Of course. Lu Yuan said softly with a smile on his face. The two of them hugged quietly. In the blink of an eye, more than an hour had passed. Chihiro Snow came out from Lu Yuan's arms and helped Lu Yuan tidy up his clothes that were messy because of the hug. Stinky guy, do you have time in the next 2 days? Chihiro Snow asked. I do. The auction is in a week's time. I have already prepared the soul tools and pills to be auctioned over the past 3 months. Therefore, I don't have anything to worry about for the time being. I do have some free time. Lu Yuan said. Since that's the case, accompany me to the dense fog forest. I want to go there to obtain my 6th soul ring. Chihiro Snow said softly. Dense fog forest? Lu Yuan was stunned when he heard this. He naturally knew about the dense fog forest. It was one of the 3 high-level soul beast forests under the control of the martial soul palace. Furthermore, the soul beasts in the forest were the most ancient of the 3. There were many soul beasts that had been passed down from ancient times. Even 100,000-year soul beasts could be found in the dense fog forest. In short, the dense fog forest was much more dangerous than the other 2 forests. Lu Yuan opened his mouth and was about to reply when the system's voice rang in his mind. Sign-in mission activated. Sign-in location, dense fog forest. Sign-in time limit, 1 month. Sign-in reward, 5,000-year increase in the age of all your soul rings, 2 titled Douluo draw card. Hey! The system's voice made Lu Yuan's heart skip a beat. He actually triggered a mission in the dense fog forest. Was there something special about the dense fog forest? Furthermore, the rewards were very generous. Not mentioning the 5,000-year increase in the age of all his soul rings, the 2 titled Douluo draw cards were very valuable rewards. Don't forget how long Xiaoyaro came out. Although he couldn't be as lucky as last time to draw an ultimate Douluo, 2 more titled Douluo were very significant to Lu Yuan's Dragon King Hall. With these 2, even if the Frenzy Rhino Douluo wasn't included, he had 4 titled Douluo under him. This was not a small force. However, the more generous the rewards were, the more difficult it would be to sign in this time. What's wrong, Lu Yuan? Chihiro Snow was a little puzzled when he saw Lu Yuan's expression. Nothing, I just suddenly thought of something. After hearing Chihiro Snow's voice, he immediately returned to his senses. Cher, who's going to accompany us to the dense fog forest this time? Lu Yuan asked. The dense fog forest is more dangerous. Although it's not as dangerous as the Great Star Do Forest, there are still many high-level soul beasts there. That's why I'm planning to bring the Snake Spear Douluo and the Thorny Pufferfish Douluo along. However, this might be unnecessary. With you accompanying me, the Dragon Emperor will definitely follow. With his abilities, he won't be in any danger. Chihiro Snow laughed as he replied. Elder Long might not be able to go. I've sent him back to fetch my father. The journey is very long. Although Elder Long is very fast, my father isn't young anymore. He's also very weak, and can't take too much turbulence. That's why Elder Long won't be able to travel quickly. I'm afraid it'll take at least 10 days before we reach Heaven Do Imperial City. That's why I'm afraid I'll be alone this time. What about the Frenzy Rhino Douluo? Chihiro Snow asked. I've asked the Frenzy Rhino Douluo to help with the soul tools. He'll be there to supervise. Elder Long isn't around, and Elder Dugu is busy with the pills. Someone has to keep an eye on the soul tools. This auction is the Dragon King Hall's first big operation. We can't mess it up. That's why we have to be cautious, Lu Yuan said. Yes, you're right. However, it's fine even if the Dragon Emperor can't go. With the Snake Spear Douluo and the Thorny Pufferfish Douluo, even if we encounter 100,000-year soul beast, we can still escape if we can't defeat it. That's why we don't have to worry. Furthermore, there might not be any 100,000-year soul beasts in the dense fog forest. Chihiro Snow laughed. If you put it that way, that's true, Lu Yuan nodded. Chapter 416. The next morning. The first light of dawn appeared, and purple clouds started to form in the sky. Lu Yuan opened his eyes. After looking at the sky outside, Lu Yuan crawled out from under his blanket. He picked up his clothes and started to put them on. He had already made an appointment with Chihiro Snow today, so he couldn't be late. Suddenly, a snow-white arm stretched out from under the blanket and grabbed Lu Yuan's arm. Why are you up so early today? Lu Yuan turned around and saw Zhu Zhuqing poking her head out from under the blanket. She looked at Lu Yuan with a puzzled look. Cher has reached rank 60, and she's preparing to obtain a soul ring. She asked me to accompany her, so I woke up early. Go back to sleep. I'll be back in a few days. You can stay in the academy for the next few days. You won't be lonely with Rong Rong by your side. Lu Yuan grabbed Zhu Zhuqing's hand and smiled as he spoke. I see. Zhu Zhuqing nodded and said, come back early, then. I'll wait for you in the academy. Got it. I'll come back immediately after I help Cher obtain a soul ring. Lu Yuan smiled as he gently caressed Zhu Zhuqing's snow-white skin. Okay, be careful. Don't get hurt. Elder Long isn't around now, so you have to be careful. Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan with concern in her eyes. I'll be careful. Furthermore, the Snake Spear Douluo and the Thorny Pufferfish Douluo will be with me. I won't be in any danger. Don't worry, Lu Yuan said. That's good. Zhu Zhuqing nodded slightly and retracted her right hand. She just looked at Lu Yuan quietly. Lu Yuan did not shy away and immediately began to put on his clothes. Not long after, Lu Yuan returned in his fluttering white robe. I'm leaving. Lu Yuan said softly. Go then. Zhu Zhuqing said with a gentle voice. A carriage slowly drove out of the Heaven Do Imperial City. Lu Yuan and Chihiro Snow sat inside the carriage, while the two titled Douluo sat outside the carriage, one on the left and one on the right. The dense fog forest wasn't very far from Heaven Do Imperial City. At the very least, it was much closer than the Great Star Do Forest. Otherwise, Chihiro Snow wouldn't have chosen the dense fog forest over the Great Star Do Forest. The Misty Forest was a high-level forest controlled by the Martial Soul Palace. Under normal circumstances, only members of the Martial Soul Palace were allowed to enter the forest to hunt soul beasts. If anyone else wanted to enter, they had to obtain permission from the Martial Soul Palace. The dense fog forest was covered in white fog all year round, and there were many rare spiritual-type soul beasts and other ancient soul beasts in the forest. It was very dangerous, so even the people from the Martial Soul Palace rarely came here to hunt soul beasts. Low-level cultivators could head to the soul hunting forest, whereas higher-level cultivators would head to the Martial Soul Forest and Red Thorn Forest. As for the Mist Forest, not many people would head there. Normally, people would only come here if they needed a rare soul ring. For example, it was very difficult for Chihiro Snow to find a suitable soul ring for his sixth soul ring. After all, Chihiro Snow's martial soul was the eight-winged angel, and it possessed three elements: holy, ultimate light, and ultimate fire. In the past, Chihiro Snow had always focused on light-type soul beasts, and fire-type soul beasts were only supplementary. However, since he already had an ultimate fire, he couldn't waste it. The best way was to find a soul beast that possessed both light-type and fire-type soul beasts. However, such soul beasts were still very rare. Apart from the Great Star Doe Forest, the dense fog forest had the highest probability of finding one. This was why Chihiro Snow chose the dense fog forest to obtain a soul ring. Although Chihiro Snow didn't know as much as Lu Yuan about soul rings, she was still very knowledgeable about them. She had her own unique ideas about the configuration of her soul rings. Lu Yuan leaned gently against the carriage and focused his gaze. Chihiro Snow lay quietly in Lu Yuan's arms. To Chihiro Snow, this was a rare opportunity for her to spend time alone with Lu Yuan. Over the past 3 months, Lu Yuan had been busy with creating soul tools and refining pills. He also had to find time to accompany Hu Lena and Zhu Zhuqing. He didn't have much time to spend with Chihiro Snow. As he gently caressed Chihiro Snow's golden hair, Lu Yuan's eyes turned slightly. 3 days ago, he had already received news that Tang Yuhua seemed to be acting strangely. She must have found out about Tang San's whereabouts. In that case, they should have already met. Furthermore, if he guessed further, Tang San might have already been led to the Clear Sky sect by Tang Yuhua. He thought about the spy that he had planted. As long as Tang San reached the Clear Sky sect, his plan would be halfway to success. The Clear Sky sect had to be destroyed. Otherwise, it would become an obstacle for the Martial Soul Palace to unify the continent. The Clear Sky sect had 7 titled Douluo, and Tang Xiao was a rank 96 transcendent Douluo. They weren't weak at all. Furthermore, the Clear Sky Hammer was known as the #1 tool martial soul in the world. Although Lu Yuan didn't think much of it, it was still very powerful to others. Ordinary titled Douluo couldn't beat someone who possessed the Clear Sky Hammer at the same rank. This was because their strength and explosive strength were combined with the chaotic cloak, and they were still very powerful. For example, the snake spear and the thorny pufferfish were both rank 93 titled Douluo. However, if they were to fight the 7th elder of the Clear Sky sect, it was very likely that they would be defeated, even though their ranks were about the same. This was why the Clear Sky Hammer was so powerful. Although it wasn't as powerful as a transcendent martial soul, it should be at the peak of the top-ranked martial souls. If it was an improved version of the Celestial Emperor's hammer, it wouldn't be much weaker than the Golden Dragon's ultimate strength. The Celestial Emperor's hammer, which possessed the ultimate destruction element, was definitely a very frightening martial soul. It was definitely more powerful than martial souls like the Darkness Holy Dragon and the Golden Holy Dragon. However, it was fortunate that the Celestial Emperor's hammer only existed in legends. Even Tang Chen hadn't evolved it into the Celestial Emperor's hammer, let alone others. Lu Yuan's thoughts were spinning as he looked into the distance. It was as if he was looking at something through the void. A few people suddenly appeared in a small, isolated village. 3 people walked in front, while a few followers walked behind them. The 3 people walking in front were a dignified and elegant lady, a middle-aged man with a stiff expression, and an ordinary-looking young man. This young man was about 12 or 13 years old. His pitch-black eyes occasionally flickered with a blood-red radiance. There was a deep hatred hidden in his eyes. Halt! Just as they reached the entrance of the small village, a voice suddenly sounded. Suddenly, a few middle-aged men who were dressed like farmers blocked their way. "Tang Lin, it's me," the lady said softly. "So it's third young mistress." "Greetings, Tang Lin," the middle-aged man in front said. "May I know who these 2 are?" The middle-aged man bowed and glanced at the 2 people beside the lady. Chapter 417. One of them is a famous theorist in the world of soul masters, Yu Xiaogang. This is Tang San, a disciple of the Clear Sky sect. The lady pointed at the 2 people beside her. "Oh, he's a disciple of the Clear Sky sect." The middle-aged man named Tang Lin was a little surprised. This young man was a disciple of the Clear Sky sect. Tang Lin ignored the mention of the Grandmaster. In this world where strength was everything, he wasn't interested in dealing with people who only talked about theories. However, he was interested in Tang San, a disciple of the Clear Sky sect that he had never seen before. He stared at Tang San for a while and said, "Please show us your sect's token." Sect's token? Tang San looked at the lady beside him doubtfully. "This is the Clear Sky sect. The token is the Clear Sky hammer," the lady said. "Oh, I see." Tang San nodded and extended his left hand. A black light flashed, and a small black hammer appeared in Tang San's hand. This small hammer looked ordinary, but it was quite heavy. When this small hammer appeared, Tang San's arm sank, and a heavy aura was emitted from this small hammer. "It is indeed the Clear Sky hammer," the middle-aged man, Tang Lin, said. However, there was a look of contempt in his eyes. This young man looked to be 12 or 13 years old, but he didn't even have a single soul ring. "Tang Lin, let us in," the lady said. "The two of you can enter, but this Grandmaster can't. The Clear Sky sect doesn't accept outsiders," Tang Lin said. Hearing Tang Lin's words, the lady was stunned. She said, "He came with me, and he's my friend. Can you make an exception?" "I'm sorry, third miss. This is an order from the elders. Unless the elders say so, or the sect leader gives the order, outsiders can't enter the Clear Sky sect," Tang Lin said. The lady was stunned. She looked at the Grandmaster with a helpless look in her eyes. Seeing this situation, the Grandmaster said, "Leader Tang, you can bring Tang San in first. I'll wait outside." "Teacher," Tang San could not help but ask. Right now, the only person he was close to was his Grandmaster. He was worried about leaving the Grandmaster here alone. However, he did not have the ability to change the rules of the Supreme Sky Sect. "It's okay, Xiao San. You go in first. Teacher will wait outside. Nothing will happen," the master said softly. Hearing this, Tang San nodded and did not insist. He had to enter the Clear Sky sect now. He needed strength. Only with enough strength would he have the ability to take revenge. Thinking about Tang Hao's death, Tang San felt a piercing pain in his heart. In this life, he would definitely avenge Tang Hao. He would make all those who caused Tang Hao's death pay the price. However, no matter what price he had to pay or what he would become, he would not regret it. "Then teacher, please wait here for a while. Auntie and I will go up first." Since he had already made up his mind, Tang San wouldn't hesitate anymore. "Go." The Grandmaster nodded and squeezed out an ugly smile on his stiff face. "Let's go, Xiao San." The lady patted Tang San's shoulder and led him into the small village. At a hidden corner not far away from the small village, a grey figure silently appeared. He sized up the two people who had walked into the small village. A light flashed in his eyes before he turned around and disappeared. On the carriage, Chihiro Snow could not help but ask when he saw Lu Yuan in a daze, "What are you thinking about?" "Nothing, just a small matter." Lu Yuan shook his head and smiled. To him, the matter of the Supreme Sky Sect was indeed a small matter. He had already dug a hole and was just waiting for the Supreme Sky Sect to jump into it. To be honest, he was looking forward to seeing the sinister Bear Lord's sneak attack. It would be quite interesting if he could defeat 7 people by himself. The Supreme Sky Sect was not weak. They had 7 titled Douluo. If Tang Chen from the capital of massacres and Tang Hao were included, they had 9 titled Douluo. It was no wonder they were the top sect in the world back then. However, Tang Chen couldn't even protect himself now. Tang Hao had been turned into ashes. Apart from Tang Xiao, who was rank 96, the rest of the titled Douluo were all below rank 95. Even if 7 of them attacked the Bear Lord together, they might not be able to defeat him. After all, the Bear Lord was half a step to the ultimate level. When he used his heaven-tearing claw, his attacking strength was comparable to that of the ultimate level. Furthermore, he was a bear that knew how to ambush people. It was inevitable that the Supreme Sky Sect would suffer heavy losses. "Why are you so serious about such a small matter?" Chihiro Snow glanced at Lu Yuan and said softly, "It's indeed a small matter. I'm guessing that Tang San should have reached the Supreme Sky Sect by now. Lu Yuan gently picked up a strand of Chihiro Snow's golden hair and played with it in his hand. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Chihiro Snow immediately reacted and said, "Yes, I think so. According to the news that we received, Tang Yuhua should have brought Tang San to the Supreme Sky Sect by now. Our people should have already found out the Supreme Sky Sect's precise location." Yes. After hearing this, Lu Yuan nodded. He looked at Chihiro Snow's beautiful face and changed the topic. He asked, "I wonder what kind of soul ring you'll get this time. I hope it'll be of a higher level and more suitable. It'll depend on my luck. There are many rare soul beasts in the dense fog forest. As long as I'm patient enough, I'm sure I'll be able to find a suitable one. However, I'm afraid it'll take up a few more days of your precious time." Chihiro Snow smiled. There was a rare mischievous look on her face. "What are you talking about? How can it be considered a waste of time when I'm with you? I can't wait to be with you every day. I'm just afraid that you'll get sick of it." Lu Yuan laughed. "I won't." Chihiro Snow slapped Lu Yuan lightly. Her face suddenly blushed, and her voice was as soft as a mosquito's. "Stinky fellow, my grandfather wrote a letter to urge us to have a baby as soon as possible so that we can spread the seeds of the angels." Hearing this, Lu Yuan's face darkened, and his expression became a little strange. This damned old man is actually urging Shui to give birth to a child. Is he that eager to have a great-grandchild? So soon? "Don't you want a baby?" Chihiro Snow asked. Her beautiful eyes stared intently at Lu Yuan. Her eyes flickered. "Of course I want one. It's just that I'm only 13 years old now. It's a little early," Lu Yuan said. "It's not early anymore. In a few months, I'll be 19, Chihiro Snow said faintly. On the Douluo continent, it was common for commoners to get married at the age of 13 or 14. For example, Oscar's parents already had him when he was 14. 19 years old really wasn't considered early on the Douluo continent. Chapter 4:18. Okay. Facing Chihiro Snow's burning gaze, Lu Yuan could only bite the bullet and nod his head. In fact, it was useless even if he agreed to this kind of thing. His golden dragon bloodline was transforming and evolving, and Chihiro Snow's angel bloodline was also transforming and evolving. Before the bloodline had completely evolved and stabilized, it was impossible to give birth to descendants, so it was useless for Chihiro Snow to be anxious now. Otherwise, based on his many exchanges with Chihiro Snow and Hulena, he would have won the prize long ago. "So you agree?" Chihiro Snow looked at Lu Yuan with some joy. "Cher, do you want to be a mother so much?" Looking at Chihiro Snow's face full of joy, Lu Yuan couldn't help but ask. Chihiro Snow nodded vigorously and said, "I like children very much, especially when I think that I'm going to be pregnant with the product of our love. I have an indescribable joy in my heart." Chihiro Snow chuckled, his face full of longing. Looking at Chihiro Snow's appearance, Lu Yuan was a little stunned. Now Chihiro Snow seemed to have a different kind of sacred feeling, making Lu Yuan a little stunned. He originally wanted to tell Chihiro Snow that it was impossible for the two of them to have a baby at the moment, but he couldn't help but stop in his mouth and didn't say it. With Chihiro Snow's current expectation, if he knew the truth, he would be very disappointed. "Lu Yuan, what are you thinking about?" Seeing Lu Yuan in a daze again, Chihiro Snow couldn't help but ask. "It's nothing, Shui. Don't you want a baby?" Lu Yuan suddenly smiled. "Yes." Chihiro Snow nodded blankly. "Then let's start now." Lu Yuan chuckled, and the vast sea cosmos shroud flew out, releasing a blue light barrier that completely surrounded the two of them. Inside the light barrier, the atmosphere slowly became lively. Mr. Yuan, we've arrived at the dense fog forest." The snake spear Douluo's voice sounded from outside the carriage as the carriage stopped. Their carriage was specially made, so its speed was actually very fast. They had set off in the morning, so it was only 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they had already arrived at the misty forest. The misty forest wasn't very far from Heaven Do Imperial City. It was only about 200 kilometers away. With the speed of this special carriage, it would take about a day to get there. After hearing the snake spear Douluo's voice, there was a commotion in the carriage. "Stinking brat, you're so bad." Chihiro Snow angrily hammered Lu Yuan. "This guy is really too much. He doesn't care about the occasion and just acts recklessly. He's really hateful." Hee. Lu Yuan chuckled. He had no choice. Chihiro Snow was too charming, and he really couldn't control himself. "You're still laughing." Chihiro Snow glared at Lu Yuan, her beautiful eyes full of reproach. All right, I won't laugh anymore. Don't be angry." "It's not good for your body if you get angry," Lu Yuan said as he gently patted Chihiro Snow's back. Chihiro Snow snorted and tilted her head to the side, looking very proud. "All right," Senior Snake Spear said that we've arrived at the dense fog forest. "We should go down," Lu Yuan said. Chihiro Snow snorted again and said, "Stinking brat, this is the first and last time. Do you understand?" I understand. Lu Yuan hurriedly nodded. "Then let's go down." Seeing Lu Yuan nod his head like a rattledrum, Chihiro Snow felt a lot more relaxed. Her red lips parted slightly as she spoke softly. "All right," Lu Yuan replied. He held Chihiro Snow's hand as they walked down the carriage. In front of them was the dense fog forest. The dense fog forest was indeed worthy of its name. White fog lingered inside, enveloping the entire forest. "Let's go in, share. But be careful. This dense fog forest will obstruct our vision, so don't stray too far from me," Lu Yuan said softly. "Got it," Chihiro Snow said softly with a smile on her face. She really enjoyed Lu Yuan's concern. Holding Chihiro Snow's hand, Lu Yuan's right hand flashed, and the golden dragon spear appeared in his hand. He took light steps forward and walked in front. The snake spear Douluo and thorny pufferfish Douluo followed behind the two of them. As soon as they stepped into the misty forest, all they could see was a vast expanse of whiteness. Visibility in this place was very low due to the white fog. Even soul cultivators with good eyesight wouldn't be able to see more than 200 meters in front of them. Furthermore, this white fog was a little strange. It actually had a certain weakening effect on spiritual power. It was easy to imagine that such an environment would be very dangerous. However, it wasn't a big problem for Lu Yuan. Once he opened his polychoria, the white fog didn't have much of an effect on him. Everyone slowly moved forward. Suddenly, Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed. "Share, be careful." Lu Yuan tapped the ground with the tip of his foot and quickly retreated with Chihiro Snow. Where they were just standing, a huge blood-red spiderweb covered the ground. Blood-red mucus dripped from the spiderweb, and the ground was instantly corroded, causing deep holes to appear. "What a strong poison!" Chihiro Snow couldn't help but exclaim. This blood-red mucus was a little too corrosive. "It's an infernal blood spider, a mutated soul beast of the man-faced demon spider. Its offensive power is even stronger than that of the man-faced demon spider. This infernal blood spider has at least 20,000 years of cultivation." Lu Yuan immediately recognized this soul beast. If not for the fact that he had opened his polychoria earlier, he would have been hit. This infernal blood spider had the same concealment ability as the man-faced demon spider. In addition to the white fog that filled the sky, it was very difficult to discover it. Even the snake spear Douluo and thorny pufferfish Douluo didn't notice it. "Young Master Yuan, let me do it," the snake spear Douluo said. "There's no need. I can handle it. It won't be too late for you to do it when there are soul beasts that I can't handle. Share, wait for me for a while. I'll be right back," Lu Yuan said. "Be careful," Chihiro Snow said with concern. "It's fine. It's a piece of cake." Lu Yuan smiled and shot forward. His martial soul was instantly attached to his body. At the same time, he donned his golden dragon armor and held his golden dragon spear. His soul rings were yellow, purple, and black, and they shone brilliantly. He wasn't in the mood to continue playing with this infernal blood spider, so he used his full strength right from the start. Spear technique, Meteor. Lu Yuan swung his golden dragon spear, which shone with a dazzling silver light. He was like a bolt of lightning as he stabbed towards the infernal blood spider. Seeing Lu Yuan's spear thrust towards it, the infernal blood spider waved its blood-red spider legs and collided with Lu Yuan's attack. Break. He unleashed 45,000 kilograms of strength without holding back and sent the infernal blood spider flying. Unbounded disturbance. The golden dragon spear drew a circle in the air, and a golden halo immediately restrained the infernal blood spider and restrained it for 8 seconds. Chapter 419. Third Soul Skill, Heaven-Ripping Golden Dragon Claw. Lu Yuan held the golden dragon spear in his right hand, and his left hand, which had completely turned into a golden dragon claw, slammed into the blood-hell demonic spider's body. The heaven-ripping golden dragon claw was Lu Yuan's most powerful soul skill, so Lu Yuan rarely used it under normal circumstances, as it could easily injure others. But today, in order to cut the Gordian knot and end the infernal demonic spider, Lu Yuan directly used his true strength and defeated the infernal demonic spider. The 20,000-year blood-hell demonic spider was definitely much stronger than the 10,000-year blood-hell demonic spider. Its strength was comparable to a soul sage, and it hadn't even used the spider god's possession. Once it used the spider god's possession, this blood-hell demonic spider's strength was probably close to that of a soul Douluo. However, it was a pity that Lu Yuan wouldn't give it the chance to do so. He had killed the 10,000-year man-faced demonic spider to obtain the external attachment soulbone, but he had already obtained it, and was prepared to give it to Bibidon. Therefore, there was no need to waste time on this blood-hell demonic spider. The blood-hell demonic spider was already severely injured after this series of soul skills. The blood-hell demonic spider was sent flying by Huo Yuhao's 95,000 kilograms of strength, and the unpredictable storm was directly imprisoned. In addition to the heaven-ripping golden dragon claw, how could the blood-hell demonic spider resist such an attack? Die. Lu Yuan's body moved, and the golden dragon spear stabbed into the blood-hell demonic spider's armor as easily as if it were tofu. The golden dragon spear's devouring power was unleashed. He wouldn't use his devouring power on humans, nor would he use it on ordinary soul beasts. However, he wouldn't go easy on savage soul beasts like the man-faced demonic spider and the blood-hell demonic spider. In particular, this blood-hell demonic spider had tried to attack Chihiro Snow earlier, which was undoubtedly a taboo for him. Blood-red energy surged into the golden dragon spear, and was converted into the purest energy by the spear, which was directly absorbed by Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan's soul power was slightly depleted after using the heaven-ripping golden dragon claw and unpredictable storm, and this was a good opportunity to recover. Heavy amounts of energy surged into his body, and Lu Yuan quickly recovered all of his soul power. After that, the remaining energy continued to surge towards Lu Yuan. Fine, I'll break through to rank 50 today. It's about time anyway, Lu Yuan muttered to himself. The Clear Breath Sutra's soul force began to rapidly refine the infernal demon spider's energy. As the energy was refined, Lu Yuan's aura began to strengthen. Finally, after 2 minutes, it was as if some barrier had been broken. Lu Yuan directly broke through to level 50. Lu Yuan pulled out his golden dragon spear and looked at the shriveled-up infernal demonic spider before walking back with his spear in hand. Lu Yuan, when did you become so strong? Chihiro Snow's face was full of surprise. This stinky guy seemed to have become stronger than when he fought with her in the Great Arena of Souls. Chihiro Snow couldn't help but be surprised that he could kill a 20,000-year-old blood prison demon spider so easily. Without a sound, this stinking fellow had walked so far away again. If I don't become stronger, how can I protect my share? Lu Yuan giggled as he said. You only know how to say nice things to make me happy, Chihiro Snow said plainly. However, she couldn't hide the smile in her eyes. It was obvious that she enjoyed Lu Yuan's words very much. Lu Yuan wasn't surprised by Chihiro Snow's reaction. If she didn't act like this, She wouldn't be the proud Cher. After dealing with the infernal demon spider, everyone continued on their way. An hour later. Young mistress, young master Yuan, it's already dark. Let's find a place to rest, the snake spear Douluo said. All right, let's leave this thorny area and find a clean and spacious place to rest. Lu Yuan nodded after hearing the snake spear Douluo's words. You're right, young master Yuan, the snake spear Douluo replied. Stinky guy, how strong are you now? Chihiro Snow held Lu Yuan's hand. She was a little curious. Lu Yuan's performance earlier had shocked her. This stinky guy had become so strong without saying anything. This was why she couldn't help but ask. How strong? Lu Yuan pondered for a moment before saying, if I have my polychoria, I won't be afraid of anyone below the soul Douluo level. Pervert. Hearing this, Chen Renshue blinked her beautiful eyes and lightly spat out 2 words. Cher, don't talk about me. Aren't you as strong as a soul sage? Once you break through, you won't be too far off from me. If I don't use my polychoria, I won't be able to beat you. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Once Chihiro Snow became a soul emperor, she would definitely be invincible below the soul Douluo level with the strength of her angelic domain and her 8-winged angel martial soul. Lu Yuan was sure of this. If he didn't use his polychoria, Lu Yuan might not be able to beat Chihiro Snow. He might even lose. However, he was also rank 50 now. Once he obtained his 5th soul ring, things would be different. When that happened, he would be able to suppress Chihiro Snow even without his polychoria. However, this wouldn't happen. After all, Chihiro Snow was his woman. How could he bear to hit Chihiro Snow? Chihiro Snow's lips curled into a smile when she heard Lu Yuan's words. She was a little happy. No matter what, she wasn't too far behind Lu Yuan. She wasn't like Hulena and Chihiro Snow, who could only watch from afar and try their best to catch up. She was still able to keep up with Lu Yuan's footsteps. This was already very good. Sometimes, happiness came from comparison. Right now, Chihiro Snow was like this. Screech. As the few of them walked, a sharp, ear-piercing screech entered their ears, causing them to stop in their track. This screech seemed to be in pain. It sounded more like a whimper. From the sound of it, it sounds a little like a scarlet flame golden eagle. This type of soul beast has both light and fire attributes. It's also a rare top-tier soul beast. It's quite suitable for Cher. I wonder how old this scarlet flame golden eagle is. Lu Yuan couldn't help but ask when he heard the screech. I'm not sure. We'll know once we go take a look. The sound is coming from the northeast. Chihiro Snow said. Then let's go take a look. Judging from the screech, this scarlet flame golden eagle might not be in a good condition, Lu Yuan said. It was possible that this scarlet flame golden eagle was under attack. It would be a pity if they were late and the soul beast died. The scarlet flame golden eagle was very suitable for Chihiro Snow. Even if it was younger, less than 50,000 years old, it was still acceptable. After all, the age was only one of the factors. What was more important was whether it was suitable. Then let's go quickly, Chihiro Snow said. Facing a soul beast that was suitable for him, Chihiro Snow was still very concerned. Let's go, Lu Yuan shouted. Everyone rushed towards the northeast. Chapter 420. Screech. The scarlet flame golden light condor's body glowed with golden light as scarlet flames shot out from its beak towards the black figure not far away. Stop struggling and submit obediently. It's your honor to be able to become the flesh and blood to activate the altar. The black figure chuckled as a blood-red chain shot out from his hand, scattering the scarlet flame golden light condor's flames and hitting it at the same time. After being hit by the blood-red chain, the scarlet flame golden light condor's beautiful golden feathers exploded and scattered in the air. At the same time, the blood-red chain left a deep wound on its body. Whoosh! The scarlet flame golden light condor's body trembled as it spread its huge golden wings. Streaks of golden light gathered at the edges of its wings, forming sharp wing blades. With a flap of its wings, the wings were extremely fast as they sliced towards the black figure. Oh, what a fierce attack! The black figure's figure flashed and dodged the wing blades. The black soul ring on his body suddenly lit up, and a blood-red light spread out in an instant. The blood-red chain instantly lengthened by more than 30 meters and coiled around the scarlet flame golden light condor. After missing its attack, the scarlet flame golden light condor turned its head and charged towards the black figure again. Its sharp wings, which were condensed with the power of light and fire, carried a terrifying strength. TSK, TSK, TSK. The sharp wing blades clashed with the blood-red chain, and the golden light gradually dimmed as they collided. A faint blood mist rose from the blood-red chain, and deep scratches were left on the chain. Good fellow, you're quite capable. I'd like to see how long you can last. The black figure sneered as he circulated his soul power. The blood-red chain, which was covered with scratches, instantly returned to its original state. The long chain was like a huge python, and it opened its mouth. The sharp edge of the chain pierced towards the scarlet flame golden light condor. It was like a venomous snake spitting out its tongue, and it was filled with fatal danger. On the other side, Lu Yuan and the rest were rushing over. Lu Yuan held the golden dragon spear in his hand, and beside him was Chihiro Snow, who was also holding the divine sword. This divine sword focused on the power of holy light and fire, and was extremely compatible with Chihiro Snow. It was also very easy to use. With this sword, Chihiro Snow's strength would increase by a lot. There are sounds of fighting. It seems like the scarlet flame golden light condor is fighting with someone or some soul beast. Lu Yuan's ears twitched as he whispered. It's not a soul beast. I'd like to see which soul master has the guts to poach soul beasts in the forest controlled by our martial soul palace forest. Qian Runshue's beautiful eyes were filled with killing intent and her tone was cold. The misty forest had been under the control of the martial spirit hall since ancient times, and had a history of nearly 10,000 years. If a normal soul cultivator wanted to enter the misty forest to hunt soul beasts, they had to obtain permission from the martial spirit hall. This was a challenge to the martial soul palace. How could Chihiro Snow not be angry? I'm not sure yet. Let's go and see what's going on. Yes. Hearing this, Qian Runshue nodded. Be careful. Don't alarm them, Lu Yuan whispered. Lu Yuan took the lead. He used the qinggong of the phoenix dances of the 6 illusions. The tip of his foot touched the ground lightly, but his body flew quickly and elegantly. It had to be said that the phoenix dances of the 6 illusions were very suitable for Lu Yuan without his martial soul possessing him. It was very elegant and cool. But once his martial soul possessed him, the phoenix dances of the 6 illusions would be a little strange, given the strength and form of the golden dragon. Chihiro Snow also increased her speed. As an 8-winged angel, she had always been very fast. Now that she was following Lu Yuan, she didn't show any signs of falling behind. The snake spear Douluo and thorny pufferfish Douluo easily followed behind the two of them. We're here. Lu Yuan stopped in his tracks. His polychoria flashed, and everything 300 meters away was reflected in his eyes. There was a black figure fighting intensely with a scarlet flame golden light eagle that was more than 5 meters long. It's 5 meters long, and there's a flame-like crown on its head. This scarlet flame golden light eagle has just reached 50,000 years old. It can be called a scarlet flame golden light eagle king. Its strength should be comparable to an ordinary soul Douluo. It's very suitable to be Cher's 6th soul ring, Lu Yuan thought to himself. But that black figure. Lu Yuan couldn't help but furrow his brow when he saw the figure in the black robe and the evil blood-red chain in his hand. He could feel a familiar sense of disgust from this figure. Little Yuan, how's the situation? Qian Runshue's figure landed beside Lu Yuan and her red lips parted as she asked. See for yourself, Lu Yuan said softly. A soul Douluo? Qian Runshue couldn't help but sigh as she looked at the figure shrouded in black robes and his remaining 8 soul rings. Abuchi, why do I feel like something's wrong? Why does that person give me a very strange feeling? It's like disgust. Chihiro Snow asked Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan didn't answer. He only smiled and asked, "Why aren't you calling me a stinky fellow? Why are you calling me a Buchi?" Chihiro Snow blushed when she heard that. She replied, "Why do you care? Can't I like it?" She couldn't possibly say that it was because she and Lu Yuan were about to have a child, so it wasn't appropriate to call him a stinky fellow. How could she say that? Sure. As long as you're happy." Lu Yuan chuckled. It was just a form of address. As long as Chihiro Snow liked it, it was up to her. As long as it wasn't a cat or a dog, she could call him whatever she wanted. Chihiro Snow frowned and said, "I'm asking you something serious. Don't you think that black-robed man has a very evil feeling? I feel a sense of disgust from the bottom of my heart when I see him." "I have that feeling too. If I'm not wrong, this black-robed man should be an evil soul master," Lu Yuan said softly. He had the clear aura divine power and the clear aura scripture, which were specialized in restraining all kinds of evil. This disgusting aura was similar to the evil soul masters he had seen before. It could make people feel disgust from their souls. Chihiro Snow's martial soul was the eight-winged angel. It controlled the power of holiness and light. It was also a great restraint against evil soul masters. Due to the uniqueness of their martial souls, Chihiro Snow and Lu Yuan had the same feeling. They shared a common sense of disgust towards evil. This kind of evil was different from the god-slaying spear's killing intent. The god-slaying spear's killing intent was ferocious and murderous, but it wasn't evil. To be honest, the difference between the god-slaying spear and evil soul masters was a little like the difference between the Asura god and the Rakshasa god. It was just that the god-slaying spear's killing intent was much stronger than the Asura gods. Chapter 421. Evil Soul Master. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Chihiro Snow was stunned for a moment. After that, a strong murderous aura erupted from his body. Angels were naturally at odds with evil soul masters. Over the years, the Martial Soul Palace had exterminated countless evil soul masters. If not for the Martial Soul Palace maintaining order, evil soul masters would have been a disaster long ago. Even with the Martial Soul Palace suppressing the evil soul masters, there were still scattered evil soul masters who would come out and cause trouble. Lu Yuan had already met 2 evil soul masters so far. It was self-evident how dangerous evil soul masters were. Even the Fengming village, the hometown of the current pope, had been destroyed by evil soul masters. One could only imagine how arrogant these evil soul masters were. Sometimes, Lu Yuan even suspected that these evil soul masters had risen from the ashes and had secretly formed some other organization. Therefore, Lu Yuan wasn't surprised by Chihiro Snow's murderous aura. Angels hated evil soul masters from the bottom of their hearts. This was something that came with their martial souls. It could be said that 6-winged angels and evil soul masters were natural opposites. Although Chihiro Snow was an 8-winged angel now, the logic was the same. "Share, don't be rash." Lu Yuan grabbed Chihiro Snow's hand when he saw the strong murderous aura erupting from Chihiro Snow's body. This evil soul master was a soul Douluo. Furthermore, he had the best combination of soul rings. He was very strong. Even the 50,000-year Scarlet Flame Golden Light Eagle was at a disadvantage. His fighting strength was evident. Chihiro Snow's 8-winged angel was a natural counter to evil. However, it was far from being a match for an evil soul master like this. One couldn't forget that evil soul masters had many strange tricks up their sleeves. It was impossible to guard against them. "Seniors, I'll have to trouble you to capture that evil soul master. If you can't capture him alive, kill him on the spot. As for that Scarlet Flame Golden Eagle, Shuer and I will deal with it," Lu Yuan said. "Yes, young Master Yuan." The 2 titled Douluo nodded. "Shuer." Lu Yuan's gaze shifted to Qian Runxue who was beside him. "Got it." Chihiro Snow felt a warmth in her heart when she saw Lu Yuan's gaze. She knew that Lu Yuan was worried about her. After all, she couldn't defeat a Soul Douluo with her current abilities. That's a good girl. Lu Yuan smiled as he squeezed Chihiro Snow's hand. He was afraid that Chihiro Snow would charge forward with her holy sword. After all, it was unimaginable how much an angel martial soul masters his hatred for evil. Such a situation was not impossible. On the other hand, Lu Yuan's divine power of clear qi was different. It was relatively mild, and although it could restrain all evil, it was not as intense as the Seraphim's. It did not affect Lu Yuan much. Attack. Lu Yuan retracted his left hand that was squeezing Chihiro Snow's hand. He narrowed his eyes and uttered 2 words. Instantly, the few of them charged forward. The snake spear Douluo and thorny pufferfish Douluo pounced towards the evil soul master at the same time. Lu Yuan and Chihiro Snow attacked the 50,000-year flaming golden eagle king. Lu Yuan wielded his golden dragon spear and donned his golden dragon battle armor. His golden dragon martial soul instantly fused with his body, and dazzling golden light erupted from his body. His golden dragon spear was like a dragon that was imbued with a bone-chilling might. Chihiro Snow's martial soul was also attached to her body. The 8-winged angel shone with holy light, and her 5th soul ring lit up. Her soul skill, Holy Sword, and her Class 6 soul tool, Holy Sword, gathered holy light and scorching golden flames, and slashed towards the flaming golden eagle king. Unpredictable storm. The golden dragon spear swept through the air in a circle, and a golden halo immediately bound the crimson flame golden light condor monarch for 8 seconds. As long as the spear struck its target, it would be bound. This was the power of one of the sea god's 13 halberds, unpredictable storm. The only way to avoid being controlled was to avoid being hit. Or, like Lu Yuan, who had a godly skill like the golden dragon war body that could nullify all control-type skills. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. The scarlet flame golden light eagle was already severely injured from its battle with the evil soul master, the Soul Douluo. Now that it was ambushed by Lu Yuan and the others, it was completely defenseless, and was directly struck by the unpredictable storm. Polychoria immeasurable light. His polychoria flashed, and 2 rays of bluish-golden light shot out. Against a 50,000-year soul beast that was comparable to a Soul Douluo, normal attacks were useless. This was why Lu Yuan used all his killing moves. The polychoria immeasurable light was not to be underestimated. It could kill anyone below the level of Soul Douluo in an instant. Even a Soul Douluo would be severely injured if they were hit. This scarlet flame golden light condor king was no exception. The bluish-golden light hit the crimson flame golden light condor directly. Under the effect of the unpredictable storm, the condor's body had long been shackled. Under the attack of the infinite light, the condor's hard feathers were instantly annihilated. 2 large holes appeared on its body, with blood gushing out continuously. After Lu Yuan's immeasurable light attack, Chihiro Snow's dual sacred swords, which were condensed with holy light and scorching golden flames, slashed through the wounds caused by Lu Yuan and struck the flaming golden eagle king's body. Immediately, a deep sword wound appeared on the flaming golden eagle's body. Almost half of its 5-meter-long body was torn apart, and its golden feathers were stained with blood. Screech! The flaming golden eagle king let out a mournful cry. There was a trace of weakness in its voice. After suffering such a heavy injury, its life was in danger. It wouldn't be able to hold on for long before it died completely. After landing gently, a strange look flashed across Lu Yuan's eyes. Although it was natural for humans to hunt soul beasts, Lu Yuan still felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. After all, his connection with soul beasts had become closer and closer. However, Lu Yuan withdrew the strange look in his eyes. Before he became a god, he couldn't change anything. There was no point in sighing. If he had the time, he might as well cultivate diligently and wait for the day when he could change this abnormal cultivation method. Furthermore, this flaming golden eagle king was indeed very suitable for Chihiro Snow. For Chihiro Snow, it didn't matter even if he had to break his vow to kill. Chihiro Snow also gently flapped her wings and landed. There was a trace of surprise and disbelief in her eyes. A 50,000-year flaming golden eagle that was comparable to a soul Douluo was so easily taken care of by the two of them. It was just a surprise attack. Seeing Chihiro Snow's expression, how could Lu Yuan, who was already very close to her, not know what she was thinking? He immediately said, "Yes, indeed." Chihiro Snow nodded gently. If Lu Yuan hadn't directly used unpredictable storm to control this flaming golden eagle king, they wouldn't have been able to take it down so easily. After all, this was a soul beast comparable to a soul Douluo. But then again, Lu Yuan's unpredictable storm was really powerful. I wonder where he got it from. Chihiro Snow's mind was spinning. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.